By the midday, we're back at 2. Ciao.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara, and I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream. We already have Mr. Two Pamps. Shout out to Darwin. They're one of the OGs. We have Zion Fernandez family. It looks as if we're being joined by that entire family, and why not? I'd learn to trade with my family if they cared, but they don't. Scott H., Scott Edwards Draco, and Caesar Sandoval, Blue Arrow, gracing us with his presence, as well as Alaric B, the Piper, Cairo, and Atif Tabat. We got Tammy B and Chris Klinganon. Ooh, I like that. Pawns the Fawns, one of the OGs. We got TH, Derek B, Rios, John 90, or is that Rios Juan? Bob Dub, we got Steve Soler, and Tracksuit. Yes, I show up to work every day in a tracksuit if Brendo let me. Mr. Slim Sim and Lionel Martinez Adara, everybody joining us today. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everyone. How are you doing today, Sharif?
I cannot complain. I'm alive and breathing. How about you?
I'm good. How are you, Trenda? We don't ask you enough how you're doing. Still smiles.
Yeah.
But yes, when you mentioned tracksuit, I'm actually in a Nike long. I got involved because I like the higher highs, higher lows. I know I usually tape scalp and book scalp. I will continue to do that for all my mega caps, but this Nike, I was like, it was on my side chart. I like the look. Had a planned addition, had it set as I enter the trade. If we break below 80s, I am outie. I want to start taking out here if we get that 74.14s. I do not think this is going to go how I want it to go, but I like the look, and I don't have a reason to leave yet, so I'm going to stay in that. That being said, the focus is always going to be in tape scalping. Yesterday, I started out okay, and then things went a little down off the rails because I stopped trusting myself. Got to trust yourself. Got to have trust blood in whatever you take. So if I see something I like in the tape, in the book, regardless of how it seems to look on the chart, regardless of what the trend is, I'm not a trend trader. I got to trust myself. That's what we're going to be doing here today. Tesla and Tesla, not that I'm only going to be trading Tesla, but whatever I trade. Nike right now, bouncing off 80s. I'm not adding any more here. We're going to see how we cook. What are you looking at this fine Tuesday morning?
The Katina man was dropping money, so we're just going to double check with him, see what's going on over there. Tesla, as Adara mentioned there, I just want to cover it real quick. HOD 259. It looks like we are on our way to that 260. We danced with it a little bit yesterday, Katina man, right at noon. We got into that exact area that we're at right now. 259, 45, 44. HOD from yesterday on TSLA. We're on our way there. We're 44 pennies away from said high. So keep your eye out on that. We are at the whole dollar right now, 259er on TSLA. Keep your eye out the half dollar, but you know Tesla, it'll blow through levels like it doesn't care about anything. So be careful. 2.5% decent move. Well, more than decent for TSLA. We'll cover the Mag 7 in a hot second here, but I want to start off with the small cap gappers because there is plenty running today. My goodness, SNGX, 427% in the clear. This thing is a rocket ship. Started out its life today at $2, but that was the last time it saw $2 on the day, as this one started going right at 7:30, right when that headline hit on SNGX. Let's give the deets on it, as we typically do. Here's the new move with this 400+% pump. We're now $10.33 million market cap with a float of sub 1,986,000 share float. Let's bring down trade ideas and shout out the NOS boss and see what said short float, if any, is. Okay, decent, 4.05% of that sub 1 million float is shorted. Now, here's the look. We just touched 12, double top at 12 with 3 topping tail candles in that $12 area. As you can see, the respect for the 10 exponential on the 5 has been deep. It's been profound. At times, it comes into the 20 or VWAP. They were a little close here. Can't really gauge which one it was retracing to, but I can tell you that every closing print held above the 20 exponential on the 5-minute chart. So the first thing I'm looking at is this $10 area. Number one, it's the whole dollar area. Number two, it's a smidge above that 10 exponential. If that doesn't hit, what's the price action support? Right here, 850. There's the second last crest we had. This crest obviously is the last one we had into $12, but this 850 on SNGX. Very interesting to me, so much so we are going to put the alert at $9 so we can have advance notice of said retracement. And sometimes it doesn't come down to 850, like it may hover in the low 9s. So SNGX, big boy day today for it. So we'll keep an eye on that. Longevron, Adair brought that to you guys in the morning there, and when it started pumping right at 9:30, 315 high, it did break down momentarily below VWAP for whatever reason, found support at 265. I don't see anything near 265 as of late, so kind of a random area to find support, but that doesn't really matter because it weaseled its way above the volume weighted average price. Now it's kind of trying to accumulate in front of 3. Longevron, not a small cap gapper, but one we're awfully familiar with trading on an intraday basis. Cassava Sciences also having itself a decent day. SAVA, this is a bigger company. It's about $500 million market cap. It's done light volume today, so I really want to take this off. To be honest with you, I don't like the volume that it's done. About 1 2/3 million shares, dancing at 11. VWAP's at 1080-ish area. I want to see what it does. Coming down off the highs, 1150 high a day on Cassava. JMIA. JMIA. This one looks really good, okay? And it's not because it's done umpteen amount of volume or up a zillion % on the day. No. The chart looks awfully good. The chart pattern on this, you get a big boy move. We started out at 850. We get to 1092. We do a healthy retracement. All the prints, though, on that retracement north of the volume weighted average price at 1030, and now we're curling back up above that 10.5 into 10 2/3, possibly a $0.75 rounded bottom, bull flag, whatever you want to call this. It's a good look, and it's holding up at support, so we'll keep an eye on that. Last but certainly not least, NAS. NAS is like,
Yeah, NAS.
hey, there we go. So NAAS, Adair, decent look for it today. The only question about this one is the volume. It's done sub 1 million shares, 960,000, 31 1/3 million share float or market cap, and the float is 0. No, I'm kidding. It says on my platform it's 0, but obviously it's not. Let's check Trade Ideas. The float on Trade Ideas says 4.15 million with a short float of 2%. So, not really much to write about there, but keep an eye on those bad boys. That is what I'm watching today. And I should mention, I got a holdover from yesterday, MYO. Tried to short this one yesterday. Shout out to the Katina man for getting me shorts, but I won't make that same mistake again today, as I did end up. This was my only loser yesterday, straight up. But I won't be shorting this monster again today, up into 5 and a 5th, Adair.
Yeah, I literally, I love that you were rapping Nas as I love Nas, NAAS are the letters that spell, so shout out to that ticker. And also shout out to Nas, whose fun fact, middle name is Dara.
No.
So I love that.
What?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
it's one of his middle names. But yeah, shout out to Nvidia as well here. I took this 90 VWAP short. I know this was kind of aggressive. I stood by it because I was I think we can kind of build into this. That is what I'm trying to do. That being said, if Nvidia cannot break back below this 132 in a level I like on the tape, I'm just going to get out of it. I'm fine with that. We've still been making lower highs in the tape, which is why I stayed in. It's also why I added. Basically, too, I want to address something, too. I want to address Tesla. I'm not in Tesla. I'll still do it. What I'm trying to do, I did a lot of reflecting last night. I always have the opinion that if I'm going to be on this chair, I want to make sure I am still doing my best to improve as a trader, right? Because I feel very lucky, blessed to be able to trade here. Just got out of some of Nvidia. So basically what I'm trying to do is make my trading. And one thing you said to me, Sharif, that always sticks with me is whatever you're trying to do to get you into the trade, help that be the reason you get out of the trade.
Oh.
With that in mind, why am I picking random areas to exit based on prices if I'm getting in and out based on the tape? So with that in mind, I'm going to basically make my levels of entry and exit based on if I see anything distinctly different. Shout out to Obi on the book and the tape. That's what we're doing here. Nvidia, if I see us get that nice pop here above that 132.20, try to make these higher highs, that would be a sign for me to leave. If I don't see anything like that, I'm going to have to keep exiting, adding, subtracting, and as I get what I want, I still have about 60% of my original position here. If we stay below 132, I'll add a little bit at 132. Nvidia is giving me no reason to leave right now on the book, so I want to honor that for the time being. If it gives me reason to leave, I'll leave. So
awesome.
that's just, I wanted to update my strategy because things are going to be a little bit distinctly different over here in my trading, hopefully, for the good thing.
I love it, and that's good news because, well, Well, I hope you print. Goes without saying. So let's look at the Meg 7 names over here. Let's try to discern some trends. Softy looking awfully weak. Like this looks like the hockey stick pattern that we've been talking about with that big down move and then even more lower highs and lower lows. Softy on the way down into 463, a bit of a tougher day as it gives up a little bit. I mean, it kept printing all-time highs, so be careful with this one. I was looking possibly for support at the $0.50 level because it kept wicking off that level, but most notably, it kept making lower highs. So even though it had that 463.5 general support, every successive high was lower than its predecessor, basically shadowing that 10 exponential on the 5. So I said, this is not done going down. Leave it be. Okay. The other one I'm looking at here, META, looking for that 530 bump possibly. We're getting umpteen amount of lower highs. Same kind of look on Meta that we're getting on Softy. You're not getting that hockey stick pattern, but you're getting the lower high pattern. And so there does seem to be support at 530. So I'd like to see if that level will hold up. It generally held up yesterday, and I actually had a good trade off 530 on Meta yesterday in the afternoon. So we'll see if that level comes into play again today. 530. The Zon, you know, ever since it got into that 200 level, it has been awfully consolidative. It had a bit of an outlying day on the 3rd. It retraced all its losses from the 3rd. It started doing the 200 consolidation, and we're doing that same thing again. There does seem to be some local support over here at the 199.50 with generally 200-ish area being that resistance level. But I got to tell you, in terms of a $200 name, it's giving you very little in terms of a notional move. So, you know, unless this is going to be one hell of a range trade, I'm staying away from it. Tesla obviously is the monster du jour, and I'm certain we're going to see something like a 260 glance, if not a 260 take. We're already above yesterday's high. This candle here at 11:55 printed yesterday's high for Tesla, which was 259.44. We've doubled that up now. We're at 88s, not 44s. 259.88 HOD on TSLA. It has been one symphony of higher highs and higher lows. Great upward channel after that initial IB high pop. Nvidia, we're seeing a hell of a short on this from Adara. I didn't even see that, so we're going to hit the bang for her there. Great short, Adara. Tell us all about it.
Thank you. I would love to. So as I said, I got a little bit too aggressive. I initially was interested in this when we were at 132.30s. I was not able to get filled. I was like, okay, let's see what we do at VWAP. So I did add, once we broke below 132 in a way I liked, I started the position. I knew it was a bit of aggressive, but I was like, it's fine as long as we stay below the 132.30s. And I see stuff I like on the book consistently, I'm fine. I add to the position 132.16's planned edition. We don't get any higher than 132.20s. The book isn't really giving me anything to worry about. So I stayed in. I would have been interested in adding again, but I wasn't able to get that addition. Got out, I think, yeah, got out a third of the, so I got out 40% of the position here, 131.80s, got out 88s, another, what did I get out here for? Another 40% at 131.78s, and then I got the rest out here around 60s or 58s when I saw that we were seeing slightly higher lows. I didn't have much of the position left at the end, but I was really happy. I was able to take more than 50 pennies on it. Now what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to have my last piece of the dreams be a little beefier. Where's the beef, says Wendy. And that's what I say for some of my beef wetters here. I want them to be a little bit stronger because you know, you want to make sure, obviously, that you have these profits if you can take them, if there's still things you're seeing that you like. Right now, I would not get back on this short. We're getting a heck of a bottoming tail candle here, so I want to be cognizant of that. But if we keep projecting 80s, there could be a tiny short the pot for me. Happy with what I did on this here trade. How are you?
Fabian just punned.
What did he say?
He didn't say it in your ear?
I didn't hear it, no.
He said, don't the bulls bring the beef?
I guess they do.
Well, it's, you know, technically the cows, but it's all good. All right, guys, Elliott waves is what we're talking about all week, Elliott wave theory. Today, we're going to get a little bit more nuanced and talk about the wave ratios, which essentially combines Elliott waves and Fibonacci retracements. So let's talk a little bit about that. So imagine the market unveils a secret code hidden within its price movement. Elliott wave theory suggests this code might lie in the ratios between the waves. Today, we'll explore these ratios and how they can enhance your understanding of potential price targets and retracements. But a word of caution, guys. These ratios are guidelines, all right? Not strict rules. Guidelines, not strict rules. The market doesn't always follow them perfectly. However, they can be a powerful tool when used alongside other technical analysis indicators. So let's get right to it. So Fibonacci's, right? What are they? We know that the Fibonacci sequence, which is a series of numbers where each number is the sum of the two preceding ones. That's kind of what we know about that. In case, an example, right here, you have 1, and then obviously the sum of 1 is 1, then 1 and 1 is 2, 1 and 2 is 3, 2 and 3 is 5. You get it, right? So this number will always be the sum of the two preceding ones. That's kind of how it works there. But the way we're going to use it today is we're going to talk about ratios using the Fibonacci extension on your charting tool and how to use them with the impulse waves and the corrective waves. So yesterday we talked about what impulse waves were, what corrective waves were. You'll recall that waves 1, 3, and 5 are impulse waves, waves 2 and 4 are the corrective or consolidative waves. So let's talk about the ratio for the impulse waves, which are the trending waves. These are going in the direction of the trend. So wave 3, which we talked about yesterday, saying that it often is the longest and the strongest of the waves. It's theorized here, again, theorized to be 1.618 times the length of wave 1. And I'll show you this described in a second on a chart, but just look at the text for now. Wave 5, on the other hand, typically extends the trend. We know that this one is the last of the bullish or the trending waves. And this can be equal to wave 1 in length or as small as 0.618 the length of wave 3. So keep that in mind. And again, you'll see it depicted on the chart in a second. The corrective waves, the ratio for the corrective waves, you'll recall that wave 2 is the pullback wave. It is the counter trend wave. It is expected to retrace between 38.2% to 50% of wave 1. So you have wave 1 made. The retracement will typically be about 38.2% to 50% of that initial wave 1. Whereas wave 4, which is also the corrective wave, obviously after wave 3, the biggest of the waves, this is a smaller retracement after the more powerful wave 3, often retracing only 23.6 to 38.2% of that wave 3. So let's just get right to it. So this is your wave 1, right? And you're looking basically at wave 2 to be about 38.2 to 50% of your wave 1 move. And that's exactly what we got here. So that's your wave 1, and you have about a 0.618% retracement, right? Whereas wave 4 is a smaller retracement between 23.6 to 38.2%. Here, you get that 38.2% retracement off from wave 4 off the size of wave 3. So that's kind of how it's depicted there. It can get more nuanced though, and that's why I put a lot of these ones out for you, because there is different retracement level for every wave, and depending on where you are in the wave sequence, you're going to have different retracements. So I just put a whole bunch of these ones on for you. You guys can screenshot them if you like and have a look later. And then there's this one here actually on an actual price action chart on Bitcoin, right? Is this Bitcoin? No, this is not Bitcoin. The next one is Bitcoin. This is the market, excuse me. And so you have multiple lower highs. You're on the down move here, and you have each wave basically outlined on the top or the bottom of the crest or the trough, and then you have the fibs drawn from the bottom to the top to project how big the waves will be. And I'll show you how I do that on my platform in a second. And this is the one that I was telling you about. This is back in the day on Bitcoin when we had that big move from 2012 to 2014 when we got up into that $1,000 mark, and there were successfully corrective waves there within the larger trend, all of which kind of held on to the percentage retracements that we're talking about. Okay, but beyond the basics, guys, and before I show you how to use this in a second, these are just some of the more common ratios, the ones that we've mentioned. There are additional Fibonacci levels like that 61.8, 78.6 that can also be considered. I know my fib heads out there will be telling me about different ones, so Absolutely respect that. And remember, the market can sometimes overshoot or undershoot these levels, these retracement levels. So use them as zone guides as opposed to actually strict price levels. So keep that in mind. And putting the whole thing into practice, the initial move here is to basically find the instrument of your choice. You're identifying that trend. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? Right? That's what you're looking for first. Then step 2 is to locate wave 1. Visually look at the chart. Can you look at the initiation move? Either after a period of retracement or consolidation, what wave is initiating that uptrend or downtrend? It works both ways, okay? And then number 3, apply the ratios. Once you've identified the waves, you can basically go in there and use your Fibonacci retracement tool and do the wave analysis. Just keep that in mind. And mastering the art, obviously. You always want to combine whether Elliott waves or Fibonacci retracements with other technical indicators. Use them alongside trend lines, excuse me, support and resistance levels, as well as volume analysis for stronger confirmation. And, you know, I shouldn't have to say this, but I'll say it anyway. Practice does make perfect. Use this kind of, strategy in a sim or, chart on old charts for, or to get better essentially at identifying the different waves and getting to know which ones are the corrective ones and which one are just actually reversing. So let me pull in my side chart over here, and then we'll do a little bit of an analysis on how to analyze these waves. So let's go to Apple. Why not, right? We'll go to Apple, and then essentially let's go to the daily chart on Apple, and I'll just kind of show you how I would measure these waves. So these are, I'm not identifying these as fib waves or anything like that, but what we can do is, I'll show you how to do this. So you select your fib tool, you start from the low end of the trough, or if you're going short, you start from the crest, whatever, and then you're basically drawing it, and then you have a drawing tool that takes you all the way up to the top, and that will be your 100%. So that's your 0%, that's your 100%, and then you get all your intervening ratios in between there. So you do that between the waves, and then you can project what the subsequent wave will be. So that's kind of how you do that using fibs. You're basically identifying the waves first. Once you identify the waves, which was wave 1, 2, 3, 4, then you can go in, use the ratios that you have using your fib tools, and basically try to gauge where you think the retracement or the move up will be. And that's kind of how that's done. Obviously, not foolproof, but something to help guide overall trading.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I like that you say art, because it is, it's something you have to take time at. Like Picasso, whoever, artists, they don't make masterpieces in a day, right? So things take time. Yeah. Trading is one of those things that you really do need to take time with. I am so happy with what has happened with Tesla so far. I feel like there's been some progress, hopefully, in my trading since I had my whole moment of reflection yesterday. I took this long here off 288.55. This was a pure, book tape read. I saw that we were holding this level nicely. Lowest we got while I was in it was 258.40. So we got 15 pennies out of the money. I was like, I can live with that here. Didn't see anything distinctly different to get me out. So I started getting out here at 80s. I actually got out 40% of my position, 75 cents in the money. Woo! I was really happy with that. Took the last fifth when I realized we couldn't take 259.30s and hold it. Now you may ask, Adara, why would you go short? For that exact reason. If I'm leaving the long because we can't get above 30s, if we still can't get above 30s, I'm going to take it short. Could have gotten involved at a level that was a lot more aggressive. Instead, I did take a little bit less size here and got involved once I really saw that breakdown at 259s, and once I saw us fail that level a couple times. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get what I want here. I wanted low or high 70s. I'll take 80s. I'll take 81s. I'll take 20 pennies. I have no qualms. I am, say it with me, qualmless. Because as Sharif says, we do made up words over here. We don't like getting...
actually made up?
I don't even think it is. I know no qualms. Qualmless might be a me word. I don't know. But we're out of Tesla, so I'm super happy. And also, because I love using these buttons, make sure that you vote.
Oh, yes.
Get involved right now in the chat, ! Join, space, $, whatever tickers your fancy. Maybe it's Nvidia. Maybe it's Google. Maybe it's MSFT. Maybe it's META. Maybe it's Apple. Maybe you're Sharif and you like the apples and Apple. So shout out there. Also, guys, I apologize for my voice and the speed right now. It is my voice a little bit undergoing a moment. So I do apologize there. I'm going to try to speak as clearly as possible on that. So Also, Tesla, you want to make lower lows? You want to start rejecting now 258.80s? You're acting like I'm not going to short you again? Okay, Tesla, watch out, Stressla. What are people looking at here? Join AMD, says Ponzi Fonzie. So let's actually look at AMD. I know Neil had his eye on AMD as Sharif sometimes. Oh,
Number one.
it got a pushback. I mean, Sharif, it deserves a pushback. Look at it here at this whole dollar level, the 177. We get support here. Then we get this nice little roundy top and rejection. We know what Michael Noss says, short the frowny faces, long the roundy faces. And this indeed was a frowny face. Let's see what we do here at 175.50, because that would be, to me, the most natural level of potential support. Also, currently, we do have Senator Elizabeth Warren questioning Fed Chair Jerome Powell. If I hear anything spicy, I will let you guys know. But right now, he's just refusing to answer political questions, which really par for the course for Mr. Powell there, for sure. What else is going down over here? JMIA, I know, has been on watch. So let's take a look at Jumia. That was one I actually liked as a potential short, because we did at one point have these lower highs, but I haven't seen it for a while, so I'm not really sure what we're seeing. Let's take a look at this one. Oh.
2.
I love this Sharif counting out the bounces. I mean, but literally, I'm pushing my chair back because Jumia's pushing its little chair back here, getting a nice little bounce here at 10:30. So great look, but we looks like we're trying to make a lower high here at 1070. We do get this wick up. Let's take a look here. Yeah, no, Ricky Peters, I was thinking short like earlier on the 3-minute chart. I'll show you guys what I was seeing. This is what I was seeing a while ago. Obviously, we're not seeing these lower highs anymore, so I think now it could be a long. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see here if we can push above that this 1080 area where we got that topping tail candle. I think that would be a fabulous look. Also, yeah, Dog Monopoly and anybody here, the reason I shorted Tesla, I short pops. There was a pop there. It was totally a book trade. That's the only reason I got involved. So there we go. Tesla, you want to keep making lower highs? I will short you again.
Yes, just about to put in my stop on Meta. There we go. So we are long. Where are we long? Well, the trade ideas thing is covering it. We are long at 530.10. So I'm looking for a hold near the IB low that we printed at 530 here. So let's see if we can get a hold up. So if we break below that 530 into the $0.75 of a dollar, 529 3/4, I'm going to be out. We'll see if we can ride this one a little bit more into maybe 531 or so. It was a little tough chasing this bad boy because of the spread on META. We did get a wick down that stopped me out of my initial position at 529 and I believe 3/4, but it did make a bit of a hammer candle. Ironically, did not close though. So we'll see if we can get something around 55s, or 66s here. We're showing 59s on the ask. If we can bounce up a little bit more into that general 2/3 of a dollar area, possibly 3/4, we're gonna have to pack our patience as we find a little bit of resistance in and around that area. So yeah, we'll just pack our patience there. What else we got? So Softy finally getting a green candle here. There was nary a green candle to be had on Microsoft on the way down today. It's been one rejection after another off the 10 exponential. It hasn't even been able to make it up into the 20. So I'll be looking for something maybe near the 20 now that we've had a double bottom and a forceful move back up about $1 off the bottom there. The 20 exponentials hanging out just a little bit below 464 on my chart. So we'll see if we can weasel something out of that. Let's bring in the small cap gappers, see what those are up to the day. SNGX continuing to hold the 10 exponential. I put an alert at that $9 area to let me know when it does make it down there. It has not made it down there, so I may have to change my thesis on SNGX as it's just awfully strong. But it is off the highs, but still holding the 10 exponential, and that's the thing, right? That's what's keeping me interested in the name. All right, so now we did get a nice 50 penny winner on Meta there. Let's see if we can get that dollar. We're long 10s. I'm showing 75s here on MET. So I'm going to try to pack my patience on this name and try to weasel some profits from it. But it is a bit of a weak day today. Quite frankly, we just got off lows off the future. So maybe I should be looking the other way. Showing 88s here. I'm just going to wait at 10s for the dollar banger. If we can get something around 10s, that just be great. In fact, I'll just wait at 07s because lucky number 7 for me. So we'll just put that there. If we get it, great. If we don't, we don't. So that is the look. I'm also looking at the chips, and it's a bit of a mixed bag today. Interesting. Nvidia.
A mixed bag of chips?
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, okay. Now you're on your pun game today. You weren't on your pun game yesterday. Wow, you were kind of.
I wasn't as.
Yeah,
it was half. Yeah, it was like, yeah, it wasn't as good.
You've set a high standard. I don't mean to, yeah, you've set a high standard punning there, so, But yeah, seriously though, if I can go to the watch list, 0.2% on Nvidia, and then Micron, the other one that's really standing out to me there, up 1%. We got AMAT as well, but that's not one that we typically trade. SMCI, the monster, the sub-monster, let's call it that, is also up about 1%, doing the dance with no pants with that 909er level. All right, we're about to get printed here. If we can just move a little bit higher on said, we're going to take a buck there on, come on, Meta, bro. Let's go. Give me the money. All right, so we're going to have to wait. I'm not going to flatten it. I'm just too stubborn for that. We'll see if we can weasel our way into the dollar club on META. We're like, we did get into the dollar. It's at there. It's at there. It's showing 7s. I'm sitting at 7. It's not crossing 7 because the spread is just too wide on META, but that's nothing I am unfamiliar with there. There we get the money. All right, so now we can actually hit the dollar banger on said Meta. So 530 does end up holding, but it did cost me some money to do that because I did get stopped out for 20 penny losers initially. So we'll see what we can get possibly here on a short now on Meta at 531.5 because that's where the 10 exponential on the 5 is hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah, Tesla getting a little bit stressed here, a little bamboozling. I still think there's a short here because that 258.55 was a mighty strong level of support. We are making lower highs on that. I got out because we popped into 259, but just surely as we popped into 259, we sold it off. So, we got to, like I said, I'll go long if I see the impetus for a long. Tesla, if you can't get above 259, not going to take you long. It's that simple. We'll watch out here, though. I think we are trying to make higher lows in the book. And I would I know I am short bias. I had a nice long here in Tesla today, too. So we'll see. Whatever is in the water, I'll see. But I am trying to trust myself a little bit more because I do feel like I had some, and I said this yesterday, too. I had some trades yesterday that I knew as I got in them. I was like, well, the book's not supporting that. But I was like, oh, but it looks like it should be a long. Like, that's no reason to take a trade, right? You want to see what you're actually seeing, not what you think you should be seeing. So that's what I'm trying to do there on T to the S, the L to the A. Also, Nvidia breaking lower here. So I did have, I tried to take a long here up into 132, got out for a couple pennies in the money, then tried to short it. Wasn't a short then. Clearly a short now, though. So I want to be keeping an eye on NVDA for any kind of pop here, any kind of drop. I want to wait. I think there could be some scalp opportunities here. Nike, I think this one I'm going to have to stay away from. The spread is a little bit too spready for my taste. I guess I don't like a guacamole spread or a butter spread, apparently. Not a huge fan of that. But I do like, it's not going to be a pushback because I don't like it that much. But that 73.55, I do like to hit this chop and churn here a bit earlier, right before the open. Then we come there and rest after falling below VWAP here, 73.55. I was briefly in a long on this because at the time we were making higher highs, higher lows. The trend broke. I exited. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see here what we do with Nike because Nike's trying to run here past this hurdle. Oh, the pun games are on, Sharif. They are on indeed.
I think I woke you up into that, eh? I challenged you there. You don't like to be challenged, Adara.
I love being challenged. It makes me go harder.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like, you don't like anyone questioning your ability, so you're going to come out hard. You're going to come out fire. Guys, J.D. Vance is now doing the question of Papa. And anybody who's been following politics, we're just going to mention this super quick. This is one of Trump's possible VP candidates. So this is going to be loaded here. So eyes out on the market. So because obviously, when a senator questions, it's a little bit different than when a potential VP running mate does. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out on the market. We're already getting a little bit of a pump here. The Vance pump, we'll see. Maybe we can get into that 20,700. Guys, we were almost at 20,800 today. Another all-time high this morning at 10 a.m. when we printed that 20,771.75 on said NQ September contract. So great retracement here, but it's still a negative day. And I'm missing Big Spile Burdette, man, because he's taking a week off. He messaged me and he let me know he's going to be kind of doing his thing 21. But he would have been all over these shorts, Adara. He would have been all over the Nvidia short. Microsoft short today. There was lots in the negatory. Even Apple, that double top at 229.40, it gave you about $2. So the downside. So keep eyes on that. Meta. All right, so we just finished trading this one, and I said 531.50 where the 10 exponential on the 5 was hanging out. It blew through that like it didn't give a you-know-what about said 10 exponential. So now I'm looking at the 20. And now we're doing the dance here with 532. The 20 is at 532.15. I don't expect a strict hold, but what I'll be looking for is there a rejection off the 20. If there isn't, then I'm looking at this, not pre-market, this after the bell kind of consolidation area low, right at around 533. We had umpteen amount of candles wick off 533 before we gave up the ghost at 1020 on that level. So right now we are showing a little bit of weakness here at 532 at the 20. But if that breaks, I'm looking at 533, and it's not just because it's the whole dollar level. We do have resistance initially here in the after the bell trading session at 533. Then once we broke down below 533, we used 533 as said resistance. So first, looking at the 20 exponential on the 5 at 532, then looking at that general 533 area on MSFT, sorry, on Meta. I was looking at MSFT, that's why I said it. And here we go. So we get breaches here of 10 exponential on the 5 on MSFT. So I'm looking here for that 463 2/3, 464-ish for a possible hold up. Otherwise, I'll be looking to take both these guys to the downside if we can get a clear rejection off one of these technical levels that I'm looking at. Big Bob Dub. Sharif knows more about American politics than probably half of America. Impressive. Nothing to do with me, my friend, just basically part of the job. We got to read these headlines all day long, and so you just end up knowing a whole lot. I do know a lot about Canadian politics, too, if you guys want to hear about that. No, you guys don't. Sleep. Enlighten us, says Ram
She
Ram.
says in the least interested voice.
Ram
She
Ram's...
She does not... Pardon?
Look, don't gaslight him like that, she said. Well, you know what, Ram Ram? You're not my good books today, so it's all good. It's all good, Ram Ram. What do you got?
I have the IWM. Also, I hope someone got my JD Vance joke in the chat, because I don't know if you know his book or movie, Hillbilly Elegy.
No.
So I wonder if he will be delivering a Hillbilly Elegy. So yeah, weirdly that movie was nominated for multiple Oscars and starred Glenn Close and Amy Adams, and it was on Netflix. So yeah, weird. That's literally how I heard of this man initially. Not the point. The point is I am long IWM. This was a struggle for me. This was a struggle because we know when I see something like this, my initial instinct is to go short, but then I was like, Adara, we could be bouncing off the 90 ME. So I said, watch the price action. Watch the book. You trust the book, so let's read that book. Let's read that Hillbilly Elegy. Or that, I don't know, shout out another JD, let's read Catcher in the Rye. So then I decided I was going to be catching this long here off that 200.9 level because we kept bouncing off there. I was going to risk into 80s / if I saw something I didn't like on the book. Right now, I see stuff I like in the book. We are having a bit of a moment here with 201. This is not like a massive position, but it's enough. Gives me a little bit of stuff to sink my teeth into, right? Gives me a bit of strength here. I would love to see what we do here. If we break decisively above 201, that's when we're going to start planning some profit taking here. Again, we're going to really be looking for changes in the tides here in the book. Shout out to Sharif. We hope we don't get rinsed. That is going to be for sure.
Yes.
But you want to see that change in the tide. Also, Benzinga. So I think we're a little bit.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah,
I'll get it ready.
I'll keep chatting.
We'll do it at 51. Cool.
But yeah, so right now, I would love for 201 to do something for me on this I to the W to the M. What else is going on here? PLTR attempting a bounce from a key level, says Grov. It's so funny. So Sean was saying Palantir this morning, and I kept thinking he was saying Powell. So we're going to look at Powell and Tier today in honor of Jay Powell. So how are we doing?
Number 3. That's 3 before the hour is over.
Someone in the chat was saying he was like telling his girlfriend about the over-under chair pushback that you were talking about, which is hilarious. Shout out to you. That is so funny. Yeah, no, it's certain parts move me. They just literally physically move me. Oh my God, I didn't even
physically.
But yeah, so this, I agree with you, Gaurav. There's a nice little bounce here. I think we're clearly actually, I don't want to say inverted head and shoulders, but I kind of see one. We have this 2735, 2 little baby shoulders. It's a little bit of a hunchback. but it's kind of an inverted head and shoulders here. That being said, we are struggling with this neckline area of 27.55. I think what we do here will be pivotal, English, Adara. So let's see what we do. We did have this nasty topping tail candle, so let's see if we can overcome that. If we don't, I think it'd be interesting to see what we do from 27.55 to 27.40. It could be a short, though not one I'd be interested in, just not really my type of stock, but Palantir, yeah, I think we're at a pivotal point here for sure, Gaurav. Right now, I want to see my IWM, my Russell, continuing to rustle to the upside here. Bounce off that IWM, Russell.
Get that.
I believe in you. Get that coin, Russell. How are you doing?
Good. I just missed 533 on Meta, but it might be coming back in over here. So initially, there was a rejection at 533. This is the level that I had earmarked. I want a rejection. I don't want to be first and then have my position stop out. I need proof that there is going to be that retracement at said level. I'm also cognizant of the fact that the volume weighted average price is of around the $0.50 to 2/3 to a third of a dollar. So it doesn't have to hold up exactly at 533. It'd be great if it held up at the whole dollar level. It'd make things a little bit easier. We have one topping tail candle right now on the 5-minute chart, but it did close green. And then we have another candle just subsequent to it that rivaling it right now, looking to break through that level. We're above 53, but this is the area that I'm looking at. And there's a reason for that, right? We had this area as a support level area earlier. It then acted as resistance. We made a lower low, so, I'm looking for a lower high here possibly. I'd like to be able to get in a decent trade on Meta without having to wait a long time beyond the rejection of 533. So I don't want to give too much away here because we're already dipping into the 70s. It's a decent look, but yeah, I'm going to pack my patience until this candle does turn red, because right now on the 5-minute chart on Meta, it is still a green candle, and I'm looking to go short, so that ain't the move for me. Microsoft as well, looking to also move down. Where's my Microsoft chart? All right, let's load it up over here. That's not on the New York. There we go. Microsoft, I missed that one. There it goes. So it just broke down below 463, and that one did a double top through the $0.50 into the 20 exponential, and now it's coming right back down. I don't know, man. I feel like the market is weak today, so I'm going to look to get short on these names. We're going to have to chase Meta here, which I absolutely hate doing because of the spread, but it is not called spread for no reason there. So we're gonna wait at the third of a dollar, possibly to wet our beak here. The out is gonna be the break of this crest. So it's for breaks 533.75. We're gonna have to get out of this bad boy because, well, can't give it that much room. So put in the stop. I put in the beak wetter. Now I just need to put in the stop, so I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, I'm very proud of IWM. I was just looking at it like, you're so dead, Russell, come on, can we do something? And then IWM decided to sing Rick Ross, go, every day I'm rustling. Shout out to, I think, James Dell in the chat a while ago making that joke, but I love that one. Currently about 10 pennies in the money on IWM, Sharif sometimes calls it. Let's keep pushing higher. You know what? I'm gonna actually take some out at 201, which I'm aware that is literal pennies, but I do want to secure the bag here a little bit, and then I'm willing to add if we keep seeing higher lows. So trying to take some profit on IWM. Thank you to Viraj Nathani for the $5 super chat. Can you check at TEM upgrade? Yeah, so actually TEM, it's an initiation of price targets across the board for a lot of these analysts here. This was a recent IPO, Tempest AI. We know what the market thinks when they hear the words AI. They think we want to get involved. Now, my thing with TEM is there's not a lot of volume here. We have less than 1 million shares traded. Eli Lilly can sometimes do better than this guy. So this is not a ton of volume here. What I'm seeing is maybe a bear flag. Now, why do I say that? Well, we had this drop here from 32.80 all the way down to 31s, and we get this chop and churn. This could be interesting. We could break lower. But like I said, it's a little bit harder for me to judge patterns or movement on a chart when the volume is going to be this light. As someone, and I'm not, believe me, I've traded light volume. I've said this before. I've traded Lilly 500,000 shares of volume. It's definitely something I've done, but I'm saying it is a little bit harder to trade these names. With Tempest, much like my old pal Lilly, you do have a spread of around 11 cents, so not to the extent of Lilly, but I would definitely be aware of the spread on this. Not a ton of volume, only 20,000 shares right now in this 5-minute candle, and we're just 1 minute away from that candle closing. So I would definitely be cognizant of the spread on this guy. On the daily chart of Tempest, let's.
I'm lucky enough I don't have it.
I would see just a lot of consolidation here in this daily chart. Definitely some support at 31. So I think if we close below that, that's where things could get dicey. We're also definitely struggling with that 36 level on the daily. We had, when we got these price target, I guess when we got these analyst initiations after the quiet period ended post IPO, we did pop into 36, but 36 definitely looking like an area of resistance for me. We have 2 topping tail candles. Now we get a topping tail candle into that level. So yeah, I would say Tempest, definitely I would be checking the temperature on this one because it looks a little bit weak right now on this name. But thank you very much to Faraj Nathani for that super chat. Let's see how this one ends up moving from here.
All right, let's check these small cap gappers. I just wet my beak a little bit there on Meta. Now I'm just waiting to see if it stops me out for the rest. It's going to have to hold below this 533.17 area. So a little bit left on this one, but we're gonna hold this one to see if we make a new high. Now, SNGX coming down into that 20 exponential and that $10 area, but that's not what I'm looking for. I want to see it come down to 9 to defend this general area crest from earlier on SNGX. But long Chevron, I didn't think that it would have the wind to keep going like this, especially when it broke down below VWAP at around 1040. Double bottomed at the 20 at this 2 2/3, and now we're doing the dance with 3. We broke up a little bit above 3 on the last candle into 303, and now we're doing the dance right now through. I was talking to Scott H there in chat. He's like, look, man, long Chevron's got a huge short flow. I'm short at these levels, and I actually forgot about LGVN's big short flow, Scott. So let's update everybody on it. Guys, the short float is absolutely monstrous on this name. I don't think I've seen a bigger one. Trade ID is reporting a 7.18 million share short float. So that's the total amount of shares available for trading. Of that 7 and say a fifth million, 67 1/3% of that is basically taken, borrowed for short. So there's all sorts of bets on this one to the downside. And well, right now you wouldn't know it because it's up 43% on the day, but it is having a whole lot of trouble with $3 and initially did too. I mean, even the breaks earlier on through 3 were all met with aggressive selling. Each one was met with a success or a subsequent candle that broke it down below 3. So I'll have to see if this one can basically take 3 on a closing basis. It does seem to be respecting the 20 exponential here on the 5. This dip initially at 1040 held generally at that 20, and then this dip here through VWAP at 1115 also held at the 20. So maybe that 285 dip or wherever the 20 is trading at the time, it breaks, it comes down. So we'll see. Number 1, can it take 3? Number 2, does it hold the 20 on the subsequent retracement? So great look here for long Chevron. Sava, same thing. I didn't think that these bigger type names would have this kind of win going into the less liquid time of day. Sava has been a bit of a rangier per candle trade. Like, look at the range per candle is a little wide here. So you've had to, take that into consideration when placing your stops. If you had anything south of the volume weighted average price, you haven't been stopped out. So good look there for Cassava Sciences. And Jumia, this one really going. They're all very similar charts. JMIA, you can look at Sava looking the same way. Long Chevron, they're basically all, big moves initially, a little bit of a retracement, and then a continuation up to test highs. JMIA, SAVA, and LGVN, all presenting you with opportunities here for a possible good trade. So keep your eye on those small cap gappers there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if either of us get long Chevron today or short Chevron. We'll have to wait and find out. Also, I just got out IWM, did not like that VWAP rejection. We could be trying it again. And I know with some of these ETFs, it's not always going to be chart levels that matter, but there have been times where I've ignored charts or I've put too much emphasis on charts and then gotten messed up in these trades because of that, so I wanted to honor that. If we do have a nice full VWAP projection here, we're still seeing lower highs. I have no qualms about taking IWM short, but I want to talk about Tesla because I just took a long in Tesla.
Bang.
And I am pleased as punch. Took about 50 pennies on that guy. TSLA here. Thank you. I appreciate the bang button there for those. So what was my impetus for Tesla? I liked the 259.30 hold. 259.30 was where I got out of my earlier long on this name, and it was a level of massive resistance earlier. So I said, if we could hold that as an area of support, I think a long looks nice. Could add a few more shares, I will admit, maybe not aggressive enough, but I felt very blessed that I just trusted myself. Initially, I was like, well, get out some at 59.50. I was like, Adara, that's only going to be 20 pennies. You can get more on this TSLA as long as the book is telling you that. And the book was. So I ended up staying longer. I was really proud of myself, really happy with what I did here. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know I'm getting all like accepting my Oscar speech, but I think this is what happens when you trust yourself. I really had some trust law in my read on the Tesla book. However, Tesla cannot get above 260. We did not make a new high here, guys, that I saw. Previous high 260, I come back here, high still 260. That's why I got out, because we were struggling with that 259.80. So let's see here. We're trying to bounce off 30s again. If we keep bouncing off 30s, I have no qualms about going long again, but I want to be cautious here because this 30 has been such a make it or break it level on TSLA. Shout out to anyone who's still long this name. Not one that I want to, again, for my parameters, for how I trade, get involved in right now. But let's see how Tesla goes. I'm going to keep this up here because this could actually be our high of day break. Oh, never mind. Can I still guess your price? Okay, were you long 256.80s? I was so wrong on that. Shout out to Sean. He got long basically this VWAP bounce, 255.30. So he was a cool $4 plus in the money on that Cybertruck. I think if Tesla breaks 260 here, this could be massive. Of course, I'm a little bit sad I'm not in it, but you have to understand what your trading style is. This is not the type of thing I would necessarily want to trade effectively. I know I had that Nvidia 1200 break, but that was a little bit different because we did have a lot more time to add and subtract in that trade. This Tesla, we'll have to wait and see here what we do on T to the S to the L to the A. Charlie Tapp saying go short. Honestly, Charlie, I am tempted to do that, but my level for the short, as I said, is going to be that 259.30s. We right now, we're bouncing off. Okay, as I say that, we break lower, so this actually could be the short on Tesla, but I want to make sure I'm have respect for my levels and for my reasons for entering here. Breaking below that 259.30, that does give me a little bit of interest here, so let's try to get involved. 259.20s. Small position. I said small position. Small position. Let's go Tesla if you want to give me that entry. If you don't, I'm not going to chase waterfalls.
Do the ad read,
Ram. Stick to the lanes of the rivers you're used to on this Tesla. But yeah, I think this 250, that failure to break 260, this is the second time we've seen that. So let's wait and see what we do here on T to the S, the L to the A. Don't love that 259 bounce. Might have to get out here. Like I said, small position, just trying to trust my instincts, trust what I see on these names. I had the long, happy with the long. Now we're going to try this short. Don't like how we're bouncing off 20s, so I will probably get out here. But yeah, let's see how we go in that Cybertruck, vroom, vroom. But right now, we'd like to thank everybody in the chat. We also love to thank our sponsors at Benzinga.
Absolutely, guys. Benzinga Pro paid for itself on day one. That's actually a real review from a real trader using Benzinga Pro. Thanks to Benzinga Pro's exclusive news alerts, real-time market insights, and community of over 6,000 dedicated traders, it is the fastest way to trade the news. And right now, you can try Benzinga Pro for the lowest price we offer during our 4th of July sale. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description and join Benzinga Pro today. Shout out to the good folks there at Benzinga, always doing the absolute most in a good way. All right, we're still short on META in front of VWAP, so I'm going to pack my patience with this one. We're short at 80s. I'm putting my beak wetter at 50s. The break above the volume-weighted average price gets me out of this trade. We are finding, some ranges here on some of these names. You're seeing a bit of range on Amazon, on Apple as well. Microsoft, Google looked to be a little bit weak. Meta was a little bit weak, and then it got a double bounce off 530. I'm looking for it to reject off the volume-weighted average price. We'll have to see if that manifests or not. Amazon also, very range-bound. As we mentioned earlier, 200 generally, or somewhere a little bit above 200 has been a bit of a top for Amazon on the day. But the lows are getting incrementally higher and higher and higher. So each successive trough is a little bit higher than its predecessor. Right now, it is at the 50 exponential on the 5, trying to hold that 199.90 area. So we'll have to see how that all works out there. Virage 5. Did I say you're Virage? Yeah, Virage $5 super chat. Thank you very much for friend. I think he's talking to you, Adira, because he says, thank you for reviewing TEM $1 winner. Nice bounce. Shout out to you. Good.
I am pleased as punch for you, Raj. Happy you liked it. Happy it bounced because it did not look very bouncy when I saw it, but it looks like this thing. Oh!
Pushback number 4.
I know there's been a lot today, Sharif, but this market is just giving me lots of reasons to move. That's, you know what I mean? I talk fast, the market moves fast. I push my chair back because the market moves fast. So these markets are literally physically moving me. Push my chair back. But no, I love that, Viraj. Looks like you definitely got that bounce here around these 31s. So please just punch for you. Looks like we could be rejecting that 32.70 area. But yeah, thank you so much to Viraj. Thank you so much to this awesome chat, this whole community. Please, Des Punch. Yeah, Charlie Tapp saying that this Tesla short could be, look, I ended up getting out of my initial Tesla short. My entry was pretty bad there. Should not have gotten involved at 20s. But this Tesla, I'm not getting back short here again. If anything, I see a bounce off 259.50. So if we get back there, bounce again, I would go long. Happy I tried this short. I just think my point of entry was pretty weak there. But yeah, thank you, Charlie Tapp, for bringing it up. I do think that that curly could be interesting. We're trying 260.
Unreal.
We are like kissing 260, but it does not want to get there. Tesla's like, give me time. You guys are all staring at me and like, I can't. I'm getting a little gun shy, okay? Like, give me time. So Tesla getting a little bit, I guess, embarrassed here. We're all staring at it all pretty. It's like Nvidia when it tried to break 1200. It took its sweet time. So this Tesla 260, definitely going to take a moment here. We did have, speaking of EVs, we did have a Rivian mention from, I believe, Groff. So let's take a look at Rivian. I'm going to look at what he said here. Rivian looked good today. Look at the hourly. Seems like a rounded bottom going back to Volkswagen new highs. Let's take a look at the hourly on our pal Rivian. I'm going to try to zoom this out. Oh!
5.
Sharif, I'm going to keep pushing back if the stock's doing this. Oh, no, it's telling you. Tesla did it too. Tesla broke 260. Woo! So Rivian will leave you for a moment here to look at TSLA, though I will return to that in a second, Groff. Yeah, Tesla casually breaks. We broke 260. We broke 261. What are we breaking? Tesla, I hope you're elong this name. Shout out to everybody here. Shout out to Sean.
Get it, Katina, man.
Elon Musk. Elon Musk over here with that confidence, that Elon. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your button. Confidence, the Elon-fidence. He's killing it there with that. I'm so happy. I'm so pleased as Spencer Sean. Anyone who was on Tesla, happy I got out of my short where I did. But I'm just going to quickly review that Rivian for Grov because I really like that look as evidenced by that pushback before we pass it back to the mustachioed man to my right.
Get it, Katina, man.
But yeah, this Rivian 1 hour, I think, is a great look. It looks like a bit of a bull flag. I do see that rounded bottom here as well. So when I say bull flag, it's because look at these pops we had up. Then we have that little curl. So I don't mind this look at all. I guess less of a bull flag and more of just like a little kind of rounded cup. But great look here for Rivian. I see what you're seeing, Grov. And I also like that we're bouncing off of that 15.25 highs. I think that's a great look. Let's see what Rivian does here. Trying to decisively poke its head above 16. I think if we could eclipse that 1750 area we wicked into a couple times, that would be a great look for Rivian. Rivian its way to that upside. Ooh. What are you looking at over here?
I am looking at my MetaTrade, just about to get stopped out, sadly. Well, if it breaks through the $0.5, we've been trying to short off VWAP for a while, but the strength on Meta is remaining. And now we are above 20,700. So the future really pushing this market higher as a result of Tesla. Tesla's $1.75 higher than where we were just looking at it like 10 seconds ago. So shout out to all the Tesla bulls out there, man. I couldn't be happier for you guys. Absolutely print away on the day today, no question about it. TSLA is the monster that it was a few years ago. At least that's how it feels. And let's look at this side channel over here. Neil showed it a little bit this morning on his chart. This is the downward channel that Tesla has been in for quite some time. And now look, we're getting a decided break of that upward trend line. But I want to point out that we have had breaks of both the higher and lower trend lines, but they were quick to retrace back in. So this is kind of what I want to see with Tesla. Is this strength, sustainable? So I'm all pro for this. Not one of those people that hates on Tesla. So I'm all good with that. So still not stopped out of this meta position. Looking to wet my beak into the 69s, 70s. So I'm not going to take this out early, but I'm looking for a VWAP rejection. 533.5 is where I draw the line. Apple just got a bit of a bounce there as well as a result of that move up on the future through 20,700. It is now above 228. It was having all sorts of trouble with that 228 area. Go ahead, Adair.
I'm gasping at this thing that Senator Kramer said to Powell. You have one of those jobs where being normal or boring is one of the most normal things you can be, so great job. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I think that's like...
I mean, it's true. He meant it as a compliment, but the way he said it, and I'm probably paraphrasing slightly, was so funny that that's why I gasped. I apologize for cutting you off.
That's all good. Yeah, so what was I saying? About, it was Apple that I was talking about. The Katina man put in the chat, he's still long Apple at these levels, and now we're getting the break through the volume weighted average price for the first time on the day since 11 o'clock. So it's been an hour since we've been above it on a closing basis. Let's see if we actually hold this level. There did seem to be some resistance at the fifth of a dollar, quarter of a dollar, whatever. The last time we did pop up here about 15 minutes after 11. So, it's been a bit of a range on Apple with these outlying moves, either to the low side or the high side. But I would suggest the majority of the prints kind of have been somewhere in between today. So we'll keep an eye on that. The weak one, though, the one that's been down and to the right, and I think is the weakest name in Mag 7 world, yes it is Microsoft. And I don't think we have a headline today on Softy to justify this move down, but that's all good, because it has been very strong lately, MSFT, giving away basically the fifth move here, retracing down almost to the lows or the close of the fifth. That'll come to around 461, so we're still about $1 away from that level. Meta continues to hover at the volume-weighted average price, and now I am going to get stopped out, sadly. So, yeah, that's kind of the way it works there.
Nice. So I'm just listening to Powell. This Nvidia, I'm upset with how I played this. I should have played this range. I got short at the bottom because I thought we were going to break lower. I get out near the top as we break above. I was like, okay, I got to leave. Then Nvidia breaks lower. I tried to get in. Nvidia's like, no, Adara, you played me wrong, so this is your punishment. I was like, okay, Nvidia, wow. The disrespect. No, I'm joking. All jokes aside, I think Nvidia is going to break this 130, 130 here, and I'm not going to be involved because I played this really incorrectly, but it's all good here. If we have another opportunity to get involved here at these higher lows, or sorry, lower highs, I fully will. I have no qualms. I have some qualms. Because I played this wrong earlier. So I'm not totally qualmless, but I am qualm light. I'm on a qualm diet. So we're going to, I don't know what I'm saying. Diet qualm, I don't know. But let's see what we do here. Tesla, if you want to bounce at 261, I might take a long pop, but we're going to have to wait and see what we do in the book here. Looks like it does want to give me a little bit of a pop. So I might take this with a small size. I will say hiding my P&L has been one of the best things for my trading from the mental aspect. It's just letting me focus on, are the trades of quality? Are they making sense? Am I taking them for reasons that make sense? Tesla doing this 161 boogie, instead of the Wick Shimmy dance, doing the boogie at 161 or 261. So let's see if 261 does something for me. It looks like we might want to break lower, in which case, Tesla, I know you're near high of day, but will I short you if I see something I like in the book? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So we're going to get involved here. 99s. If I see anything distinctly different, we'll leave. I can live with that. That's the point. It's about trusting yourself. It's about taking things. And like I said, I know this looks, if you look at this chart, this looks like, I've got like, sunglasses on. It's like, what are you seeing? But it's like, you have to trust what you're seeing. I'm trusting these lower highs on the book to the point where I don't even think, there we go, we got filled. Well, if it doesn't hold up, I get out. I'm cool, I can live with that. But I'd rather take a chance to think I believe in, use that confidence, than not get involved in something I liked and regret it later. Let's break lower here, Tesla, and let's also vote. If there's any trigger you like, maybe it's Tesla. Maybe it's Nvidia, maybe it's AMP, maybe it's AMD, maybe it's Gimma. Whatever ticker it is that you like, whatever nickname Sharif and I have unfortunately given it, you get involved. Not unfortunately, but maybe unfortunately for you guys. Get in the chat, ! join, space, $, whatever tickers you are fancy. You know what, Tesla? You're tickling my fancy right now. Would love for you to break lower, but if you're only gonna give me 80s, I'll get out at 80s. Qualmless. Like I said, we are simply qualmless over here. So happy with the confidence and the confidence. If the market falls, if it pushes you down a little bit, all you gotta do is get back up. I love trading. I'm so happy to be able to sit here. So I'm waxing poetic, but this has been such a fun day. And there are worse things to wax than poetic.
Absolutely. All right, let's look at some of these small cap gappers that are moving. They're still moving in the right direction here. LGVN still holding up above VWAP and the 20 exponential. Sava really hugging that 10 as well as GMIA. It really behooves us to get into one of these, man. I mean, they're really moving nicely here. So let's see if we can weasel possibly JMIA, because this one's gotten into 11 and hasn't been able to break above that 11. So this is an interesting turn of events here. So even though the higher lows are still in play on this one, it's really had trouble breaking above that $11 area. I'll have to wait for something to the downside because there is no downside in this one quite yet. The only retracement we got on this one was from around 10:15 to around 10:25. So only 10 minutes of a retracement. So showing you its overall strength. Sava coming back down into the 10 exponential here on the 5. It's also having trouble with an $11-ish area. Got into that 11 1/3 and now turning back here. So look for something, maybe a good retracement off $11 for Cassava Sciences, all moving nicely on the day. Good strength without NAS as well, NAAS. This one, the volume really dropping off, and it's obviously having trouble with that $0.50 as well. 250 with NAS, multiple topping tails through that $0.50. It's trading at 245 right now. And I would say that this one may start curling down here as the volume has really subsided with this one. So we'll keep an eye on these small cap gappers to see if we can weasel something out of them. But we're going to have to weasel out of this meta trade because it's keeping me in it. I still haven't been stopped out because it did reject, at least for the moment, VWAP here, and down to 91s we go. I'm still waiting at 66s. It's showing me 80s now. Hopefully we can print something on this so that we don't end up taking a big L, but it did end up rejecting VWAP, so I don't want to take it out here. Even if I end up getting stopped out, I'm just too stubborn. I'm not going to take it out until it triggers my entry. I think you've been wanting to hit a key. Did your hand like reach the key? I was like, the Katina man is long Tesla at 260, so he's $2.30 in the dang money. So shout out to the dang Katina man, because we're gonna hit the damn money too, baby, because we just printed on that meta short. Finally, I had to pack my patience with this one, and I really did have the commitment to take it off VWAP. It was one initial rejection on VWAP, and then another rejection there. So we're 50 pennies, 60 pennies in the money right now on META. Let's see if we can get down into the whole dollar at 532. Big red candle on the 5 now. It would not be wise for me to take it. And now we're $1 in the dang money, Katina man. So happy about that one. Let's see what else we get.
May I say, A, I am pleased this punch for you. And B, it sounds like you were confident. Also, I just took a quick Nvidia scalp short. We couldn't get below 131.25, so I took my, 7 pennies. Obviously, now we're breaking lower. It's okay. But I want to say I'm really proud of this Tesla short. I took 20 pennies on this, then the thing popped to $1.50. This is the type of scalping I need to be doing. Trusting myself, seeing stuff I like, getting involved. I tried to flip long, actually, at 261. I was not aggressive enough. I need to work on my aggression and my longs. I mentioned that before. Also, I do apologize. My voice is a little bit raspy today, guys. I'm really sorry. Trying to be as clear as possible. I just chugged a giant tea with 2 honeys. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to make sure, because I want to make sure I am. You can hear me saying weird puns, you want to make sure you're audible there. But this Tesla is great. Look, happy with that short. A little bit upset I didn't get the long, but you know what, as Obi says, where's the next trade?
Where is it?
And right now, I actually can't tell you. Happy with my Nvidia short as well, because I took that short, then we popped right back up. Nvidia, you want to give me more scalps? I have no qualms taking you with large size, with large sharage. Shout out to Sharif, Mr. Sharage over there. And then getting in and out. Ron John saying big confidence. That's what we want over here. We love confidence. No one should have given me these keys. Let me tell you, I'm sure everyone regrets it. Because you got to have it. That's what I want to be. I want to be Sean flying on his pile of money there. These markets keep you awake. Although IWM's probably laughing at my face, because right now I would have been more than 50 pennies in the IW money, but I left because we were below VWAP. I was trying to focus on my Tesla. I don't regret it. No regrets, La. no regrets. But yeah, great look here for IWM for the EWIM itself. So, you know what I would actually like? If we get back to this 201.40 and bounce, not just because it's VWAP, but look, we rejected here earlier at VWAP and we bounced earlier. I like IWM 201.40. If we get there, I shall take it long. If we reject there, I shall take it short. Yeah, I'm trying to be legible, guys. I do apologize. Glitch, the glitch saying, what's Powell doing live? He's just answering some questions here. A lot of these questions are people asking him political questions that he can't answer or won't answer. So a lot of these people are not using their time appropriately, I would say. However, what I will say is JD Vance did something sneaky.
What did he do?
Oh, he got extra time.
He did?
Yeah.
Because someone can allot him their own time.
Well, I don't even think that's what it was. He said, can I ask one more question? They said, yeah. It wasn't even getting a lot of time. So JD Vance has special powers, guys.
Really?
He got Senate powers. He got extra time to deliver his Hillbilly Elegy, which not a book I read or a movie I've seen, but that was his book.
That is crazy. I can't believe he called it that.
Well, no, that was great because it was about his life growing up.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's just the name. It's an interactive
with
name.
you.
Yeah. It's definitely one that gets your attention. Yeah, Papa is dropping hot lines. He's talking with his hands. He's talking with his feet. You know, he's animated. He's a passionate dude. He doesn't like answering political questions, though. Leave the man alone, right? But we'll talk more about that. Maybe we can actually listen to what Papa is saying because now it is time to send you to Neil's lesson of the day.
Welcome to the lesson of the day. You caught me because John and I were having a little bit of a combo there. No, it's all good. We were just sort of chilling, talking about life and actually a little bit about the podcast, which you should check out. Everybody check out the podcast. We had Daniel Schlepfer, who is a longtime friend of both of us. So check out the Freedom and Wealth podcast. But we're in the midst. We're live. We're chatting. It's fun one to talk about. I don't want to spoil too much, but talking about life and kids, which is near and dear to our hearts. But the lesson of the day has nothing to do with kids. Listen, I don't think it has anything to do with kids. The lesson of the day is double tops, triple tops, double bottoms, triple bottoms. Now, there's lots of things you can do when you get to a double top or a triple top. But I just want to give you an idea here of what you can do for a certain type of setup. So I'm going to start with Meta, and then I'll get to something like Amara. Because I think Meta gave you an indication. I was going over a name that I could have as a secondary play for this, as opposed to just like what we were in this morning. And Meta is the one that came to mind. And the reason is because of what happened yesterday. Now, I didn't trade yesterday. But anyone that looks at a double top or a double bottom, you kind of know what you're looking for. Whether it's on a daily chart where you see the same high or the same low a couple of times in there, or just along with the trend. So for the last 3 sessions on Meta, it doesn't always have to be a big level on the daily. You could see it trending to the upside, dip after it makes a distinct high. There's 1, there's 2, maybe not always the same level, but it's the following day where you see this clear sell-off action yesterday. It comes back, the first available pop after the open comes in a 534. Then when you test it the second time, see it wick and break 534 and then fail, there's a double bottom, and then there's a third attempt at it where it then fails for good. Now, the reason why I want to point out this double top is, sure, you can look for breakouts, it doesn't work. Maybe you go long, you have a tight stop, it doesn't work. But here, when it's with trend, failing, and you get this little reversal. I think one of the things people don't always trade when it's a double top or double bottom is wait for the actual rejection. Like if you're like, you can go long or short off of this level, see it break above, and then if it holds above, look for longs in a reversal. But the trend was to the downside here, so why not look for the fake, doesn't actually go any higher, and then you're looking for the short. It would have given you a nice scalp trade in there. And then the second time through, which is technically even the third time, you're going with the trend because it failed the breakout. Now all of a sudden 534 is back into being resistance and you're off to the races. Now the reason why I think you would look for the same thing here as a fail, despite the fact it's the opposite direction from the day before on Meta, is where it ends up holding. So once again, you have Meta, it does all the craziness at the open, up, down, and around, but after the opening range is set, kind of like what it did here, where it made your opening range top and failed it, it does the same thing in front of the previous day's close. So you zoom in, you have one bottom. It's not always going to be the same line in the chart. Maybe you're trading a stock at $100 and it bounced off $100 exactly every single time. Look at Disney on a daily, and when it was holding the $100 level, it wasn't always exactly $100 that you were getting. In this case, it bounces off 530, pretty clean, and the second time through, same kind of setup here for Meta. It wicks the bottom, breaks 30, immediately recovers it, and then you get the reversal. So in this case, the resistance yesterday holds as a double bottom, eventually even a triple bottom, but you had to get that false breakout. Same thing happens over here in Meta. It is a good setup to have. There are times where you're looking for that. There are times where it's not about the reversal. You're just looking for something to fall apart underneath that big level. And sometimes it's just going to happen. And a lot of times what will happen is the more people like something, look at ARM, once, twice, thrice, higher lows yesterday, trending higher. The daily chart looks gorgeous. Anyone that's looked at an ARM chart knows that. And then much like we saw with Meta, it had the previous day close level immediately turn into a support right off the bat. Right off the bat, 185, previous day close area, support once, support twice. This time it does the wick under. Now, if you have this long, fantastic. This is exactly the one we were talking about before, where you get the wick underneath, it recovers, it's the long back in. The difference here is what happens when it comes the fourth time. So yeah, that setup where it gets to the support level, once it's obvious to everybody you have a support or resistance, it's double or triple bottom, sometimes it has to run the stop to go, you get that, but it retests the fourth time and then falls apart. Now, whether you want to take that breakdown or shift gears when it fails that fourth time into a potential rollover short, then your triple bottom or double bottom level becomes implicit resistance. So you want to give a big level, double bottom, triple bottom, maybe it's also a previous close, maybe it's support or resistance on the daily chart. Give it that chance that there's a wipeout or a running of the stops where you still go with the trend. But if it shows you that a couple of times, maybe the third time, and then fails it underneath, that support can turn into resistance. It's really easy to just say, well, it's a double bottom or a triple bottom. I'm just going to go long in front of a double bottom. I'm just going to go short in front of it. Stick a line on the chart, it breaks that line, you get out. But if that's all you ever do, you're going to get rinsed a few times when it runs that stop by a few cents. And then when it comes in the fourth time, where I don't even know that I'd be looking for it that fourth time, where I want to set up that reversal short, that can be your play. So I think you had to be a little bit more nuanced when you find a double top or a double bottom. I'm a big fan of that wick bottom where they've run those stops. This is something you're going to see, not just algos, but I mean anybody. It's an obvious level. It's going to break it by a few cents, get a lot of people out, then you're going to see it go. Those are good setup entries for you to get in. So if you already have that double bottom lined up, and then you see that wick reversal, it's worth the shot. Risk to reward's going to be good. You know it's a pretty key price level. And if the third or fourth time it loses it for good, look for the consolidation in front of it. Support turning into resistance. Lots of things you can do with double bottoms and triple bottoms. But I think sometimes having a bit of a plan, just in case they run your stops, is a good way to find yourself into entry. That is your lesson of the day. And like we started out with, hey, check out the Freedom and Wealth podcast. John and I were just chatting about it. We'll finish that conversation now. Good luck trading.
Informative and awesome as always. And I got to mention that Dan, the CEO of Real Trading, and he used to be a trader himself, but now he's the CEO, on there with Brendo this week, and he drops hotline after hotline after hotline. So get to listening to that, because that's insight from a CEO, and he knows the business. And I'm sure you will find what he has to say quite insightful. So shout out to Dan, and shout out to Brendo, and shout out to the Freedom and Wealth podcast. Usually the Katina Man and Brendo on there, and this because the Katina Man was on vacation, so stepping in for him was CEO Dan. All right.
Tesla, by the way, is now $3 up.
The Katina Man wants me to mention that, he's a decent Katina Man. No, I can't say measly for a three-banger, Adara.
I was joking.
I know. The Katina Man is long TSLA at 260, and you can see 260 is exactly resistance level 1 on pivots, and that has come and gone about $3.40 ago, because now the HOD that we're at currently is now $263.44. Every time I look at it, there's a new high of day. Tesla, guys, by the way, I should mention that the headline that we got yesterday about the short float on Tesla, the highest it's been since 2021. So the shorts are packing in here. And so if the longs keep winning, the shorts are going to keep getting squeezed, and we can continue to watch these type of, I don't want to call them parabolic moves, but they're certainly strong and they're certainly decisive. So TSLA will have to be on watch for a strong winner or loser in the next week or so, as obviously the short flow updated. And now we know what it was. What was it, like 3.14? What did I say it was?
It was
3.4, 3.4. I have it in my notes from yesterday.
I think it's 3.4. I know it's like 3.7 billion they've lost so far.
Yeah, they got smoked. That was that was on Friday too.
Yeah.
That's not even recent. Yeah, let's find out what Trade Ideas has to say about TSLA. It says 3.8%. Shout out to the NOS boss and his crew. 2.77 billion share float. About 3.8% of that, according to Trade Ideas, is shorted. So yeah, keep in mind that is the highest it's been since 2021. But before we send it to Adara, I want to show you guys Peggy. P-E-G-Y. I saw you, Paul. I saw you yell about Peggy. This one broke aggressively through VWAP. Now, Peggy started moving yesterday at 6 p.m. Don't know why. Don't care. It moved all the way into that 8 o'clock area. Did give back a little bit, though. Closed out at $1.80. 4 a.m., though, didn't stop, though. Well, 4 a.m. came, and the movement or the ascension, price ascension, did not stop. Opened up at about $1.80. And by 4:30 a.m., we had printed a high, higher than we are right now, at 260. Now, the bell rung, and Peggy found itself below VWAP, and you know how that is. I'll take it as a breakdown trade or a range trade, but never a break up or breakout trade if it's below VWAP. And VWAP was elusive for Peggy today, sub $2 most of the day, and then comes in 12:10, that noon hour, and the volume comes in aggressively. On these two candles here, 6.5 million shares on these 2 5-minute candles, and that pushed Peggy up into 2 1/3. Alas, it's still below that 260 that we printed at around 4:15 a.m. or so. So yeah, gauge the levels. We also have that institutional print at 8 a.m. Do what you want with that, but that got to 240, 4 pennies below that last little crest there into 236. So PEGY, good. What's going on over there? Is it still Tesla? The Katina man is, oh my godding.
Trying 264.
Here comes 264 on TSLA, and I think I'm about to say there goes to 264 in a second. 263.93 now, Adara, on TSLA. Let's just look. Let's look at the 4-hour over here, and this is the baseline that Tesla had been at. It had been 175, 180 for a hot minute. Now, since that time, we're up 49% on Tesla since the middle of June, and we would have been higher. I could have taken this June 11th low print. In fact, I will. Since that time, we're up 57%. This thing is a monster. I'm not standing in front of it. It's an animal.
That's fair. I was considering getting long this at that 263.15 bounce. That was a really strong area. Didn't end up getting involved, so I'm a little bit disappointed. I've said I struggle with having that confidence or what have you when I'm going long compared to how I feel when I'm going short, even if the long is more in trend. So that's something I need to work on. For sure, I've definitely said that. And I think I'm honestly a little bit more frustrated because that 262.60, that was where I was really considering getting long, wasn't confident enough. We flipped from support, our resistance to support there on the book, and I should have seen that. Was not able to get filled. But it's all good, you know, I'm not gonna cry over spilled shares. Where's the next trade?
Yeah.
Nvidia could be that next trade. We're switching from resistance at 130.160 to try to find support at 130.160. I am seeing a bit of a roundy bottom. And that is not a bad look here as well. Shout out to Big Spile or Big Caliber Dead, who I know is not here right now. No. He's a bit of those roundy bottoms, and this Nvidia one is not a bad look at all here. Bit of the smiley face. Let's see if we bounce here. If so, I mean, I'm definitely seeing higher lows here on the book. That is for sure. We cannot break below this 56 right now. Usually, as I say that, the stock proves me wrong, but Nvidia not really doing that here. I don't mind this at all. I'm going to try to go long 56s. No, and as I say that, we dropped like 10 pennies, so there. Apologies, Nvidia. I'll let you do your thing, 21. But no, if it stays a range, it stays a range, it's fine. But I want to watch this. I do think there's some potential long here, and I want to make sure I'm playing it accordingly. Because lately, as much as I love my range trades, I've not been playing them very well, and that's a little bit disappointing. So something I want to be cognizant of, something I'm trying to work on. Speaking of range, though, one of them is Longeveron. Longeveron range is like on another level here. LGVN, look at this. Look at this.
So that's not a chef's kiss, though. Is that a chef's kiss?
It was like a chef's like
Pseudo chef kiss?
I don't know, Swedish chef kiss. But yeah, this I love the Muppets. This bounce here off VWAP is beautiful. Can you guys do your Muppet animation?
Don't do it, Ram.
Never mind. We're not going to do it. But Ramin and Fabian are Stettler and Waldorf, and that's what the animation is. It's very accurate to what they're like. But look at these like higher lows here in this bounce off VWAP. If we get another bounce off VWAP here, I'm absolutely going Longeveron. I'm going Longeveron.
Have you seen Tesla?
I have seen Tesla. Oh, apparently not soon enough.
Unreal.
Holy wow.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought, yeah, okay. Well, here it is. I just looked at the chat. I saw Cantina Man right. Wow. So I knew exactly what was afoot. And there it goes. It's about to break 265, guys. What the bad word is going on here? There it goes. The shorts are absolutely getting murked. I will not be convinced any different. This is it. This is a big move here today, guys. And it's been multi-day big moves. 4 2/3 right now. We're on our way to 465, 264, 74 HOD. I should probably stop reporting on the high day because I feel like that might get broken multiple times. Look, I mean, how to get into this? You had your shot at 260, I guess, because it was a flat top. Otherwise, I'd say look for retracements off the 10 exponential on the 5. It's obviously trending. The shallow retracements will come into the 10. The deeper will come into the 20, but it's awfully extended on the 5 away from the 10. The 10's hanging out at 262 1/5. We just printed 264 3/4. So obviously the strength is coming in there big time. This is not my cup of tea, though, like punching in at highs on a banging name. That's just not how I trade. I'll have to get it on a retracement. Now, I want to mention Meta because I had a short on Meta that did well, but look what it did. So this is the bamboozlement. So I got short around right here. Look at this bottoming tail candle with almost no body. That means somebody aggressively was buying it out at around 532 1/5, 532 1/4. And it did end up breaching VWAP. But look at the candles that breached VWAP. All inverse hammer candle, topping tails, followed by a huge red candle to the downside. So the bamboozlement is real because I thought, this was going to actually be the breakdown there through 532. And I covered around there. But if I hadn't, I would have been stopped out because this one got all the way to 534 and then it gives you the breakdown. So even though you may have the right idea, you may not have the right time. And I think, let's just call a spade a spade. I got lucky. The fact that I got this candle over here because what ended up happening was it continued to print higher highs and higher lows with a topping tail candle into 534 before the Huadun came. Right? So let's just call it real. And let me show you exactly what I'm talking about now on the actual trading screen. So we were getting short and this like literally covered at bottom wick. But look what happened after that. It rocketed $2, literally almost to the top there from 532 into 534. Of course I would have got stopped out. But then look at the rejection. The rejection now breaks down below 532 and it looks like we're on our way to 531 2/3, maybe the $0.50. So the bamboozlement is real. It's fast and it's furious. You have to be ready for it. But enough about me complaining about Meta. There were aggressive fist pumps on the left side of my desk. Wow.
I'm short of Tesla 264. I'm really proud of what I did here. Now, I'm aware this is counter trend, but I really got in my head yesterday because I was doing well with the counter trend trades with purely, again, book basis, totally on the book. That was what I was doing. I only ended up taking like 10 pennies, could have gotten at least 30, but I'm happy I got it where I did. Took more size on it too because I felt really, really, really strongly about it. And you know what, Tesla, now if you want to bounce off 264, do I have any qualms about taking you long? No, I do not. I really don't. That's the thing, Tesla, I don't. And if you're gonna keep bouncing off 17s, I know that's so specific, but we're gonna take smaller size because I am a little bit more hesitant with my read on longs, which again, that is a short bias screaming at me. If I see anything I dislike here, I'm gonna be getting out. And honestly, I don't really like that we can't break above 30s. So that is probably where, hey, Tesla, you wanna prove me wrong? You wanna break above 30s? No, you don't. I'm getting out of 29s. There we go, please.
Bang.
I will keep scalping. Could I have gotten higher? Sure, but that wasn't gonna be my style of trading. Also, guys, I'm sorry, my voice is a little bit sore right now. I don't usually sound like this, so I did want to address that. I do apologize. I have the mug is lying. The mug says but first coffee, but actually but first tea. And it also weirdly meshes my nails, so good times there. Let's see how this Tesla goes. Tesla finding resistance at 264.30, which is interesting because we resisted earlier, and I can't believe this is the same day, but 259.30 was also resistance. A cool $4 or $5 ago. So this 30 penny level for Tesla has been interesting. I'm gonna keep doing my book trades. I'll take them long, I'll take them short, I'll take them any direction. Right now though, Tesla looks like it wants to reject 264 again, so I don't wanna rush into this, but honestly, if it keeps rejecting, I do wanna rush into this. Don't mind if I do. I think this could end up just being a range for a little bit. We top and turn around these levels, but I mean, took a way smaller size on this because I think we could be giving up the ghost on this tug of war a little bit, but I think I can get at least 70s on this from what I've seen previously. Oh, you don't want to give me 70s, Tesla? That's just fine. I'll take 81s if it gives me 81s. And if not, I'll get out. That's cool. I have no qualms. I'm qualmless. You got to roll with the punches. You got to see what the market gives you, see what it takes. You can't make assumptions, and that's why I like the book because it's literally showing you.
You know what happens when you make?
This is what's going on.
You know what happens when you make assumptions?
You make a donkey of you and me.
So you knew about that already. All right.
I love puns.
Yeah. That was actually a funnier one, but I can't say it on YouTube. So
that's why,
that's
why I said the way I did.
Yeah. It's from a movie. Are you thinking about the one that from a movie? You know what happens when you assume, right? Like when you know what happens when you make assumptions, and then he ends up saying something that you completely would not have anticipated.
One I don't know that.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it after. Anyway, let's look at Marvell for Nick Dubb. Nick Dubb letting me know he wants me to look at Citi and Marvell. So let's have a look at MRVL. Obviously, did get the nod today. Who did get it from? Jefferies? No, it wasn't Jefferies. It was
KeyBank.
KeyBank Capital had the comment on all the little or the microchips there. So look, I mean, it's retracing, which sucks, obviously, but it's an intraday look. The chips today, most of them negative. We have Nvidia obviously up 2 1/3, but the majority of the chip names on my watch list in negatory world. So don't take too much of that as a decided thing. Anyway, Marvell's been decent. A daily chart. There you go. So from where did we start? October to the highs that we printed yesterday, up 65%. So it's a great look there. Now, on an intraday basis, let's have a look at what we're getting here. So we found support at around 73.5. Is 73.5 a level that I would have had eyes on? And the answer to that is no, not really. It wasn't a price action that intersected yesterday that I said, oh, look to the lows or look to the highs. No, it was kind of a random area to find support. And we did get that moving average convergence divergence cross between the MACD line and the signal line right around that 73.5 or 73.25. So not much to say other than, look for possible resistance at 75 was where we closed out yesterday. Other than that, I really don't have a read on Marvell, not one that I trade often anyway. Citibank, we saw Bank of America with an upgrade today. Forget who gave it to them. But yeah, the banks start reporting on Friday as we restart earnings season, and this one's had a fantastic day. From the closing print to the high today, we're up about 3%. And yeah, anything really off the 10 exponential on the 5 has held up. You've had a couple of outlying troughs over here that could have stopped you out, but if you had your stop south of the 20, you were decent. You were good. It looked like it did have some initial resistance at that 66 general area, but then it clears it and then uses 66 as support today, the high of day, 66 2/3. Great look for Citi. Not something that we typically trade on the midday show or how to trade, or even the big kahunas don't usually trade these banks, but Citi definitely getting the nod today from buyers. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now, I want to mention that Longevron is still doing the $3 dance, the $3 VWAP dance. And the $3 VWAP dance includes a 280-ish bounce and a 3-ish rejection. How long that lasts for, your guess is as good as mine. All I know is that each successive trough, which is a low, has been higher than its predecessor, so it's accumulating possibly for that $3 flat top break. When that flat top break comes, again, your guess is as good as mine. Let's keep an eye out on this one and look to possibly trade retracements after the 3 break, or just take the range. I mean, it's not giving you a whole lot. It's giving you about 20-ish pennies worth of range. But if you size up and the volume allows, you could do decent on it. Now, it's coming into the top end of that range. Here comes 303. So let's find out if this is a pay for shorts type sitch on LGVN. Let's go Longeveron. Yeah, I know, right? So let's go super high up here to get away from the price action. And yes, I do need to pay for shorts as that red dot did not show up on my screen. So when the big kahunas come back, maybe we'll lobby them for some shorts. Zap also doing things, as well as Peggy. So they're both moving. Longeveron's up into highs. Zap is back at VWAP, wanting to break that 12 and 2/3. And Peggy, big boy move, while Neil was dropping hot lines on Neil's lesson of the day, did move into that 2 2/3. But look at exactly like what did earlier, retracing down into VWAP. VWAP here, 202. Let's find out if this one holds VWAP or it breaks down below it. But again, there is an aggressive fist pumping on the left side of the desk, so I want to hear all about it.
Thank you. I shorted Nvidia here, took some coin there, got involved 131.14s. I saw lower highs here. You guys know I was obsessed with that 131.30 level and this gradual to the downside. Initially, I wanted the long of 131.50, so please as much I didn't take that. But I got out some at 131.02s, got out the rest. We broke below 131. I didn't want to stay in it too long. I want to talk about my Tesla long because I'm so happy with that. But before I do that, I want to talk about Run for Eastra in the chat. Because Eastra said, can we look at Run? And I said, yeah, sure, I'd love to. And look at this chart. Run is running to the upside. If you guys thought I wasn't going to make that pun, I apologize. I'm a little predictable. But look at this bounce here off 1240. This is a great look. Then we try to struggle with VWAP, but I say try because Run doesn't really struggle that hard. This is not a hurdle for Run. I know I made that joke with Nike, but you know what? I can make it again. We push above that VWAP beautifully. Look at all these bottoming tail candles above that 2053 level. I love this look. We had this previous top at 1272. Run really does not care. Run does not care. It's running. It's like, what's that? I don't know. Pushing even higher. However, look at this big old red candle. This is a bearish engulfing candle if I've ever seen one. We have the wick slightly higher here, but I really dislike the look of this right now. We're going to have to wait and see how this goes. So I'd be cognizant of that if you were involved in Run, especially because given the amount of green candles we had before that, it's a little bit harder to find any areas of support or resistance for you to run for cover from if you're in this trade. But yeah, shout out to you. Thank you, Israel, for mentioning that one. I really quickly want to talk about my Tesla long as well, because I got long here, Tesla 264.30s. I was using that area as a short. Short didn't work out. It's all good. Trusted myself. Then I got long. I got long Tesla here. Took that pop into 265. We didn't get 265. It got out at 80s, but took quick 30 pennies or 50 penny scalp there. The type of trading I need to do more of. Happy I'm gaining some more confidence in the longs because I do know I struggle with that. And also, guys, make sure you're voting.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever ticker you're fancy. Maybe it's AMD, maybe it's Run, maybe it's Microsoft, maybe it's Tesla, maybe it's Nvidia. I don't know why I said it like that. Maybe it's Apple, whatever ticker you're interested in, get involved, get in there. Type in that chat, ! join, space, $, that ticker that you like. You guys know what ticker you like.
And great great segue there about Run, because I wanted to mention solar stocks, very strong, guys. If I could show this here, right, merely the only one is Solar Edge, but that is an entirely different story. SEDG down 3 2/3, and CSIQ Canadian Solar getting murked. Again, I held this one actually and made money on it, but Alfred is the one that actually got me into this one. And I held this one for a 10 banger. And since I got out of it, it's been an absolute unmitigated disaster on solar, on Canadian Solar. And I just want to show you this. chart over here. This is where we were holding it. Let's go to the weekly, actually, because this used to be a really good company. But Alfred says that the husband and wife that run this company are absolutely running it into the ground. Oh, no. So, yeah. He does like his fundamental analysis of things, knows the company a lot better than me. But, yeah, CSIQ, definitely not one of the, the golden children of the solar stocks anymore. It was decent. Now we'll have to keep an eye on First Solar, FSLR, and Enphase. I'll be looking at those two. FSLR obviously has been the recipient of a bump up. I mean, the only reason this stock is doing so good is because they make their panels in America. They're not going to be importing them from China. In case you don't know, the Biden administration wants to put 100% tariffs on solar panels built from China, imported from China, much in the way that he wants to put 100% tariffs on those EVs. So anyway, FSLR, I just want to show, is at a critical level over here. This was an obvious flat top that we had at 220. We get back into 220. We hold it generally, right? We break down for a day, reclaim it the next day. This is an interesting area of daily technical support on FSLR. It's up only about 1/3% on the day. Big retracement after that 300 breach, but did hold most notably this area of technical support right over here, FSLR, First Solar. I just want to mention that to you guys because solar stocks are strong today. So let's, why not mention it? All right, let's get to the lesson du jour, baby. We are talking about Elliott wave theory all week long. It is a more complicated topic to basically do in a few minutes on the show, but we're going to try to give it to you with really the idea that we're kind of getting you interested in the topic with the idea that you may pursue it a little bit more and get more acquainted with the topic. So imagine the market unveils a secret code hidden within its price movement. Elliott wave theory suggests to you that this code might lie in the ratios between the waves. Today, we'll explore these ratios and how they can enhance your understanding of potential price targets and retracements. But a word of caution before we start. These ratios are guidelines. That's all they are. They're guidelines. They're not strict rules like some other rules that we've employed. The market doesn't always follow them perfectly. However, they can be powerful tools when used alongside other technical analysis tools. So let's get right to it. For those that don't know what the Fibonacci sequence is, it's quite easy, right? All it is a series of numbers where each number is the sum of the two preceding ones. Case in point right here. So you start with 1, obviously 1 is 1. And then you add, right, 1 and 2, it makes 3, 2 and 3 make 5, 3 and 5 make 8, etc. Okay? So that's what essentially fibs are. They occur naturally in many different contexts, but for our purposes, just going to explain that to you. So the rule, what happened here? Oh, my monitor went out. Okay, there we go. We're good. That's okay, Ram. We're good. I'm not panicking. Don't worry. Everybody knows what I'm talking about there. All right, so the ratios for these impulse. So before I go on, yesterday we explained that Elliott waves are made of two different types of waves. The impulse waves, which go with the trend. So if the trend is up, the impulse waves will be high. If the trend is down, the impulse waves will be going lower, right? So two types of waves, impulse waves and corrective or consolidative waves. Those are the ones that go counter trend. So if the trend is up, the consolidative or the corrective waves are down. So what we're going to talk about right now is the ratios to use for the impulse waves. So wave 3, known to be the longest and the strongest of the waves, of wave 1, 3, and 5, it's theorized that wave 3 is about 1.618 times the length of wave 1. So once you measure wave 1, wave 3 is set to be about 1.6 times the length of wave 1. So just a little bit higher or more than 1.5 times. Whereas wave 5, the conclusive wave, the wave that ends the trend, is basically, it's theorized. Again, these are all guidelines and general numbers. Wave 5 is typically said to be equal in length to wave 1 or about 61% of the length of wave 1. So that's what you're looking for there. You're looking for either about 60 to 100% of the wave. And I know that's leaving you with a big gap there, but that's what it is, okay? Or sorry, excuse me, Wave 5 typically extends the trend and can be equal to wave 1 or basically 61 or 62% the size of wave 3. That was, I misspoke on that one. It's not 0.618 times the length of wave 1, it's wave 3. Now, the corrective waves, these are waves that go against the trend. They're the ones that retrace in a bull market or retrace in a bear market. Wave 2, this is the pullback wave after wave 1, which initiates the trend. It's expected to be, wave 2 that is, expected to be about 38.2% to 50% of wave 1. So once you've ID'd wave 1 and then that correction comes in, you measure wave 1 to gauge where wave 2 may bottom out and then look to go long again. Wave 4, which is the corrective wave that comes after the biggest and the strongest of the waves, which is wave 3, this one has a smaller retracement after the more powerful wave 3. It retraces about 23.6% to 38.2% of that wave 3. So it doesn't even reach typically that 50% retracement level. So if it's reached 50%, you may be, on alert for a possible reversal and rather than a corrective wave. So keep that in mind, all right? That's basically what it is there. So here are the pictures depicted. I'm not going to belabor this point, but obviously here you measure out wave 1. We know that wave 2 is about 38.2% to 50% of wave 1, which is essentially what happens here. It comes to about that 50% area. We know that wave 5, which is the final wave, is about the length of wave 1, which you can tell in this case it is, or about 61.8% of wave 3, which in this case it is, but I'm pretty sure they did it on purpose. Here's another screenshot that you can, or another image that you can screenshot, of the different percentages for the different waves. Again, these are guides, not exact levels, and here's how it would look. Basically on an actual chart, this is obviously the future that you can see here where it's a downtrend, not an uptrend, so the corrective waves are moving up rather than moving down. And in this case, this is how it looked on Bitcoin back in 2012 to 2014 when we had that huge move up from $2 to about $1,500 or $1,150 there. That's obviously a long, long time ago, but that was essentially how it looked like if you were to chart it using Elliott wave theory on Bitcoin during the time. So beyond the basics, guys, right? These are just the most common ratios, the ones that we've given you. Doesn't mean that they're the only ratios. There are additional fib ratios like 61.8 and 78.6 that can also be considered. And remember, the market can sometimes overshoot or undershoot these retracement levels, but that's all they are. They're levels, they're zones, they're not exact price targets. You need confirmation through price action, volume, and other indicators. And putting it all into practice, guys, first and foremost, you get an instrument that you want to analyze. You identify the trend on that instrument. Are we up and to the right, down and to the right, or are we sideways, which is consolidative? Bullish, bearish, or consolidative? Number 2, step 2, locate wave 1. So if you're looking for an uptrend, if you see the instrument that you're looking at is in an uptrend, where did it start the uptrend? Was it consolidated before the uptrend, or were we coming in a downtrend that we flipped all of a sudden to an uptrend? And then basically look to see what the first wave 1 is there and then where wave 2 comes in at that correction, so you can basically have your baseline for your potential retracements and your extensions, and then apply the ratios. Once you've identified the different waves in the wave in the chart or in the instrument that you're looking at, you want to use your Fibonacci ratios as potential price targets for wave endings, which are corrections, and wave extensions, which are impulse waves. And mastering the art, guys, combine Elliott waves and Fibonacci's with other technical indicators. Use it along with trend lines. Use it along with support and resistance zones and volume analysis for a more thorough look there. And practice certainly makes perfect. Get yourself a platform with a sim or paper trade and try out this strategy, theory, whatever you want to call it, in the sim before you ever use real money on the line. Just want to mention that. And I had some else here to mention, but I totally forgot now. So I'll mention it when I remember it here.
Yeah, the market kind of fell a little bit here. Was there any news? I'm trying to see if there's any news on this. Because Jerome Powell stopped speaking like a while ago before this big old drop. But yeah, Key was making new lows of day here. Tesla, I tried to get along every time the market had like a little bit of a breather,
Ram.
and then it pushed even lower. So let's see what we do here. Basically, Tesla, I shorted that whole dollar level here, 263. Tried to take the long, didn't work. Took the short. If I had stayed in it, we would have been $2 in the money. So woulda, coulda, shoulda. Definitely should have stayed. Right now, it looks like Tesla's trying to hold on to this 261. If it doesn't want to hold 261, I will take it short. I have how many qualms? None. Well, I have some because, you know, you really, when you have drops like this, you don't know how long they're feasibly going to last for. But I do want to, yeah, okay, I'm okay with this short. Really, really small position. Of course, as I get in, Tesla's like, maybe I'll bounce. I'm like, well, you really don't have to. But it looks like it does now after initially breaking down there, I did decide I wanted to bounce a bit. So got out there, lost about 20 pennies. Pleased as punch, though, with that initial short off 263. But the size is smaller. Now I need to work on holding it. Again, really what I like about book scalping and why I've been trying to develop that approach is it's really adaptable, it's quick, and you have to be quick on your toes. As you see things change, you have to adapt to them. So that's the style I'm trying. But wow, Tesla falling to the downside. I really initially did want that long here as we cracked that 265, and it looks like we did have the setup for that on the book and the chart before the market fell. But again, woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's not what matters. You got to do what you got to do. Nvidia here breaking well below that 130 area. This is another. Also, I had a brief long pop here that I was happy with. Took that about 10 pennies. But yeah, this Nvidia, we're gonna have to wait and see what we do here. I would like to see if we come back to this 129.75 or 129.90 area, and then reject those. Would be good shorts for me. I like taking these shorts off of previous areas of resistance or support. But right now, Tesla scalps are definitely of interest, just the way I trade. Let's see how this goes here on T to the S to the L to the A. Slug Guy 214 saying Tesla's gonna break 270 EOD. Yeah, I mean, definitely could. Like, Tesla's in that parabolic move, but I think it's worth noting, and this is a conversation we've had. I definitely off camera. I think one level I've liked as well. I know I've talked to a couple people about it. I know Obi and I talked about it like a while ago, pre-market. But this 265 is a massive area of resistance for Tesla. Like if you go, that earnings drop we had, that was right after we tried to break above that the first time. Then we fall again here, December 28th, end of the year, fall lower. So I do think Tesla and that rejection there at 265 cannot really be overstated. Oh, I hear myself. Cool. But yeah, they're testing audio. Shout out to Ramin and Fabian for killing it every single day, and our whole team, everybody in the chat, everyone in production. But yeah, Tesla here, this is a heck of a bottoming tail candle, but it's also interesting for me because we get it coming to that previous area of support. You guys know I'm trying to use less of the charts and more of the book, or using the book and the chart together to work together to be of areas of interest. So this Tesla 262, there could be something in the water for me. I'm gonna be like a shark, sniffing it out. I'm okay going E long or E short, but whatever I do, I must feel confident in my decision. Maybe too much, arguably too much. But it's all good there. We also have an auction in 10 minutes. It's going to be a 3-year note auction, so I will get that ready here.
Yeah, you want me to take over?
No, it's okay. I'm just going to pull it up because we have 10 minutes. Yeah, not much else I'm seeing that I'm interested in. Oh, IWM, it rejected, but a little bit higher than what I wanted. But this Tesla wants 262 bounce. That's actually what I think I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I want to get Tesla at the 262 bounce. That worked better in my head. But yeah, speaking of bounce, if IWM comes and bounces off this level here, the 201.80s, that could be a decent long scalp for me. Let's see what we do. Nvidia trying to pop higher here as well. Gatekeeper saying, let's rescue Nvidia back to 130. Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely could. When you have drops like this, sometimes the market does want to recover it. But like I said, before we get to that 130, I'll be really interested to see what Nvidia does around this 129.70 to 90 area, which was that previous areas of support and resistance in the pre. That's where I would be interested. Previous areas of support and resistance. That's where I'd be interested in a short. Odyssey Fight saying, will auction sink Tesla? I don't know. You really don't know. Sometimes it pops, sometimes it drops, and sometimes you don't even get a reaction. That's why auctions are kind of frustrating in that regard. So we'll see what the re-auction is. Also, Justice Watch making me laugh. If I saw a shark like her, I would say hi. I would say hi to you as well, Justice Watch. Yeah, I guess I'm not a very menacing shark. But Nvidia, yeah, you want to reject that one 29.70. I'll see you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I just got long softy. I'm going to give this 10 pennies. So, because it did break 460, and let me get stopped out as quickly as I said. So, look, I saw the 460 dip. So I'm like, look, just try off the whole dollar, reclaim not the whole dollar, the $10. So if it does hold that 460 area, it did dip down into 459.61, reclaim 460. I'm long 10s. If it breaks 460 to the downside, we're out. I need it to hold. No, I don't need it, but it should hold up here, at least by my estimation. If it doesn't, then it's not the trade for me, and we'll look for something else. Obviously, I'm a little, yeah, there it is. We got stopped out. I'm a little presumptuous thinking that I can call these bottoms because it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 candles in a row to the downside on softy. So we'll take the L there. I thought I'd give it a shot. No big deal. Let's see what else is moving on. So Tesla finding support off the 20 exponential on the 5. And that was the first nice little retracement that we got into the 20 basically on the entire day. Every other retracement has either held up off the 10 or briefly wicked into the 20. And there you go. Nice, beautiful dip down to 261.5. And look at that. You're at 263.5 now. TSLA right back into that midpoint between that 261.5 area and that 265. So we'll see if this one can keep going. It just made a higher high above the previous candle and reclaimed the 10, but a lot of noise. We'll see what we get with this one. I don't want to jump into it too quickly, or we just took an L on MSFT super quick there. So I don't want to do dumb things midday, right? So I'm just going to pack my patience. All right, let's see what these small cap gappers are doing as well, because, well, all of them literally are still in play. Every single small cap gapper on my chart right now is in play, and I haven't traded any of them. Funny how that works, huh? When they're not in play, I trade them. Here we go, the 400 banger, right? SNGX, the big boy on the day. Look, it hasn't printed any newer highs, certainly since that 12 touch that we got a double top off 1050 and 1045, but it also hasn't broken down below 950, despite the fact that it's made lower lows all the while. But 950 has been a line in the sand. You can see that over here at 1145 when it dipped exactly into 950. Again, over here at 12.15, 9.51 the low there, and then 12.20, yet again, 9.51 LO. So LOW. I know how to spell, I promise. So we'll see what it does if it comes into 9.50 again. SNGX, it is putting in lower highs, so you feel like, the bottom could drop off at any time over here, but we don't know how big the buyer is sitting on the other side of that 9.50. Well, most notably because we haven't looked at the book when we were at that level. So let's go and do that now. Wow, Softy's really on the way down. I really had the wrong idea here. Softy's getting tanked today. There's just unabated to the downside on MSFT. Let's see if we have Longeveron. Yeah, we do have it on another screen, so I don't need to switch it here. So we're going to pack my patience here to see what Longeveron wants to do. Oh, not Longeveron. What was I talking about? SNGX. That's the one I wanted. Let's take that off. Sorry, guys. I just digressed a little bit there. SNGX, okay, not Longeveron. I was a little bit, So 950 is where we're seeing all that support. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to sit at 955 as a resting order and see if we can get something triggered in and around there. So if we do, great. If if we end up breaking down because it's the third time we're touching 950, then that's fine as well. We're going to have to put it in quite a defensive stop. So I'm going to go ahead and sit at the third of a dollar to get everything out, and we'll cover everything at the quarter there. So we'll go ahead and sit like that. So we'll go 933 with everything Gonzino at 925. So we'll put that stop in. If it comes in, then we'll get triggered. We'll know about it. Longeveron, sorry, I was looking at that and I said its name because it was breaking down below VWAP, but that's not unusual for this name either because it's had many breaches through the volume weighted average price. Each and every one has been bought up though. Here comes the 50 exponential on the 5 at 2 3/4. Let's see if Longeveron holds up there. It's had a fair amount of respect for the 20 on its way up, but that respect obviously got breached once it broke the 20 over here at 1240. So Longeveron, it's in play, but it's definitely, near those key areas of a possible breakdown here or there.
Yeah, thank you to D-Love. Sorry we missed this earlier for the $5 Canadian super chat. Apologies that we missed this. Thank you for reminding us. $2 winner in Tesla, 264.75 short. So did see that's a crazy level on that short because that thing felt like a rock. Like I was in the long when that fall started, so I saw how that moved. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Now give me back my shares at 228 or lower in the long-term account in a couple weeks. Please and thank you, market. Well, as we got to see how Mother Market goes. Shout out to Obi. You always have to respect Mother Market. But I do want to shout out that Tesla short. Congrats to you, and thank you so much for your support. Also, Tesla, I took a short here at that 263 rejection we got, and then I got out because we were bouncing off 50s. Should have taken the long at 50s, but alas, you do miss 100% of the trades you don't take and the shots you don't make.
Yeah.
So too bad on that. I think Tesla could be grinding a little bit higher here. I think that Cybertruck's trying to drive right back off into the sunset. Thank you, Louis Tortora. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for the support. I love this community, and I'm so happy to be part of this community and sit next to this mustachioed individual here, which reminds me, if you want to see him on the green screen, if you want to see I keep saying Obi and Neil and Obi and Sean because Obi was there the last week, but we have Sean and we have Neil, and they're going to be on that desk, and they're going to be talking about tickers, the Seanfidence and the Neilage. Look at that, the OG team back together again.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be looking at some tickers while Sharif is at the green screen talking wildly. So definitely check that out. Exclamation point, join space, $, TSLA, Nvidia, Microsoft, whatever you're interested in. Get involved. We have an auction coming up in just 1 minute and 10 seconds there. So definitely, I don't want to be in any trades when that happens. Let's see what happens here. Took a quick Nvidia scalp short, took about 5 pennies here because I realized it was going to go Gatesby, so happy I got it where it did. This Nvidia here popping up above that 130, so I guess Gatekeeper, you definitely had the gates open for you because I know you said you wanted that 130 Nvidia coming back. Let's see what we do with this 90 MA rejection that it looks like we're getting here in Nvidia. Market itself pretty strong, but the Qs also coming into a rejection area. Look at this.
6.
I've done a lot today.
Oh,
we're at
my
this
bad.
90 MA level. Look at this 90 MA and also previous support. Don't mind if I Q. I was proud of that really dumb pun. So don't mind if I Q there. Pardon? Eh? I thought I heard something. But let's see.
Sorry. Ram, we heard somebody else's voice in our ear. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, yeah.
But yeah, so there we go. He's whispering in our ears. Shout out to Fabian himself.
Fabian.
The Chilean nightmare literally in our dreams now,
Yeah,
in our heads. But we're just waiting for that auction in a few seconds here. So I'm not going to get involved in the queues till I see that. But I will, you know what? I'm going to get 35 entry ready. I'm not going to get 35. I'll get 34s ready. And I'll have it pressed here with event. We're going to get involved. We're going to do it. You're going to have confidence. I don't even think I'll get filled. So there you go on that. But let's see that re-auction that we have here. Also, do you remember, because you're talking about that 400 banger, do you remember that 3,000 banger we had?
Yeah.
EST? Yes, Fabian. Shout out, we here. But that was crazy.
That was amazing. Yeah. I don't really have a lot of recollection about that, to be honest with you.
Tempest. That was right when I started.
I know, but there's just so many tickers that go over, and I just don't remember these tickers.
Yes, I just thought that was.
Yeah, I mean, who could not want a 3,000 banger for sure? And you know how these ones are too. Like when there's a big boy like today, SNGX, that could mean bigger, more aggressive small cap gappers start showing up in the coming days. So we'll have to see if they come in waves as they typically do. Let's look at some of the small cap gappers right now. We've been keeping an eye on Zap and we've been keeping an eye on Peggy. They have very similar charts. They're right next to it on the bottom left of your screen right there. Peggy at $2. Interesting here, look, because it did break down $2 after clearing it by some distance on above average volume to 236, and now it's doing the dance with 2. I would tell you though, Zap looks a little bit more bullish. It had that same breach of VWAP, but it didn't make the way down into VWAP in the same way that Peggy did. It's trying to hold up at 14 bucks, a smidge below, and this is giving you a lot more potential profit as well, which also means on the other side of the coin that you could also get absolutely murked on this one if it ends up going against you. And we've seen this one's had a decent range on the day. I mean, it closed out yesterday at 9 1/5, and today it made a high of 15 2/3. So plenty of range there, while Peggy's, basically less than $1 worth of range on the day. So Zap can absolutely go against you, so be careful with that. Now, SNGX, this one I've got a dip trade hanging out at 9.50. Look at that ugly topping tail candle into 11 1/4 and right back down to 10 1/4 we go. This is the bamboozlement that you have to be ready for on these small cap gappers that have lower floats and possibly high short floats, especially during the less liquid time of the day when they're not making, that clear trend of higher highs and higher lows, but rather consolidative off, key areas like $10, for example, as an area of support. So keep your eye on SNGX. I don't really have any trades right now. I'm going to wait for this auction to take effect, and then we'll possibly look later.
Yeah, we just got I'm getting out of my queues because it looks like our re-auction is to go a little bit higher here. Tried to take a short loss, about 10 pennies on that. But also, with the re-auction, the auction itself was a little bit lower than previous. 4.775% versus 4.915% previous. Let's take a look at Affirm, though, because people are saying, and a lot of people are affirming that as well, that there is a lot of move out. Oh my gosh, Affirm with volume. What happened here on Affirm? I'm going to try to find this. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Apparently, it was heading toward this largest losing streak on record, so that could be what a bounce here. But
oh, here it is.
Oh yeah, this came out earlier today, but we just got the volume pop now. That's why it's weird. But yeah, I forgot about that pay for you, buy now, pay later headset.
When did that come out? Because I just got it at 1.
Oh, I saw it this morning.
You saw it earlier,
I saw it
eh?
this morning.
Well, this thing is super slow then, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so we saw this news coming in here this morning. Okay, I saw this while I was at the big desk. I was looking for stuff on Meta. But Meta, announcing this buy now, pay later headset. Or they're calling it play now, play later. Play now, pay later, which of course I love. But Affirm loving this. Apparently, yeah, it could be a delayed reaction because sometimes you'll see news circulate later. So that could be what's happening. Circulator could be what's happening there. The news just came out on these feeds. But yeah, look at this.
7.
There's so many today. 28.15. Look at this pop here. Then we bounce off 28.15 here beautifully. I know we did have this of course, this volume spike as well, but I think it's nice when you've got those volume spikes in tandem with technical levels. I love this look. This is a beautiful look. Yeah, someone in the chat was saying, what a day today. Yeah, I think I totally agree. This has been what a wacky day, said Lone Sophos. I agree. This market has been giving you ups, downs, sideways, do-si-dos. I tried my short on the TQs, did not end up working out here. We pushed higher. Happy I tried it. You know what I mean? You got to make the attempts, and you do miss 100% of the trades that you do not make. I will be watching here for Tesla still because that's the one I feel like I have the best read on from a scalp POV. And I think we're in a bit of a range here. Definitely rejecting 263.30s pretty decisively, bouncing off 262.50s. Tesla, if you want to continue to do that, to wrestle with those levels, I will be getting involved with you. We will be doing the lesson soon because it is 1:05 p.m. So we're going to have one more time to ride that Elliott wave for the day and try again. Love this button. Hopefully we do not get rinsed. Happy didn't get long Tesla there because we did drop here. Looks like we're trying to break below 262, and indeed we did break below 262. What a wild day this has been. Also, I put this in the chat. I just remembered from earlier. I want an I'm panicking shirt. We need merch. We need Trader TV merch. That I'm panicking. I always forget about that, and then you always remind me that was a real thing that happened. But if anyone, shout out to anyone in the chat who was there that day when we panicked, because the market can have you panicking as well, much like monitors can. You just got to keep pressing, keep going, and try not.
I'm never gonna live that. I'm never gonna live
but
that.
I love that you're the one you make fun of yourself. That's what I love, because you're always the one who brings it up.
That, though.
I was like, guys, I'm panicking.
Well, I was in a position and the monitor went out. What do you want from my life?
No, yeah, it makes sense.
No. I'm short. I'm short the dead one right now for a specific reason. We did have price action resistance around this area earlier at around 11 o'clock, 10:55. We got into that 228 and 2/3, and we rejected. So I'm going short here with an out above the break of 70. So if we reclaim 70 and make a higher high, then I don't want any of the smoke. Then I have the wrong idea on AAPL. Obviously, it's a bit of a counter trend trade because Apple's going higher and it's been curling. It's been kind of rounded bottoming over here. But I'm trying my hand with this resistance level. If it breaks it, then I'll switch to the long look on AAPL right now. So looking for local area of resistance. It almost filled me. I was sitting on the other side of 50s, but I mean, if it continues to print higher highs and higher lows, we do want the smoke and we will be taking a long. If I get stopped out, I'll be looking long on AAPL. So we'll pack our patience with that one. I'm also keeping an eye here on AMZN for the umpteenth amount of time. It's come into 200 and rejected again on the day. It's still up 1/3%, but definitely having a whole lot of trouble with 200. And it definitely had trouble with it earlier, but the volume and the price action were a bit more volatile. So it was able to breach it at times and get as high as, the $0.25, even getting up almost into the $0.50 there on the IB high. But for the most part, they have been general 200 rejections. And so it's been ranging over and over and over on the day. So we'll see if we can possibly trade that to positive effect over here. But we're going to have to deal with this Apple trade that we're 2 pennies out of the money on at the moment and see if it does reclaim the high or, fills me. Sorry, I was just looking at Tesla there, or fills me at the $0.50. Now, Tesla breaking up again and getting another bounce off the 20 exponential on the 5. This time it's around 262, and that was $2 ago. In one 5-minute candle, this thing moved $2 up into 264. It's $1 away from the high, which is sitting at 264.98. Great look today for whoever's taking the long on Tesla. We've seen Adara take shorts off that level as well with good effect. So shows you that, there's not just one way to trade these names, even if they are up into the dang right, like Tesla today, 4 1/3. Nothing absolutely to sneeze at on the day. We'll keep an eye on these Mag 7. I'm seeing some interesting retracements here. Softy coming into the 10 exponential on the 5. The goggles coming into the 20 exponential on the 5. And yeah, Tesla obviously breaking out. Same look for Nvidia coming into the 10, possibly the 20 incoming here. We know that Amazon has been a range. And while Meta is breaking down now below the 20, it just touched it and then rejected super quick there. So we'll have to see if, these continue to range and reject off key areas of technical resistance, or they start breaking out after these auctions. We'll find out soon, I guess, Adair.
Sometimes the reauction is a little bit more delayed. Sometimes it's more immediate. Shout out to you, though, in the Apple trade, though. I hope you Tim Cook, as we always do. And as you always say to me, I hope you print. I was happy I took that Tesla long there. Took just under 50 pennies on this Tesla long. Now, the reason I got it where I did was because, A, I was a little bit hesitant. I didn't want it to be a revenge trade because I initially wanted to get involved 262.50s and didn't get filled. So I said, Derek, if you're going to go long 263.30s, which was, by the way, a level I chose because it was previous resistance. It was resistance to support flip. I stand by the choosing of the level, but I just want to clarify that was that's why I was a little bit hesitant that it could have been construed, at least in my own brain. I was like, Derek, make sure you're not doing it as a revenge trade. That being said, now Tesla, Tesla's coming back here. If we bounce, I want to see us bounce off 264.30s. That was massive resistance and support flip earlier. If it does that, if we hold and we bounce, I will take this thing long into the new high of day. I will do it. I have no qualms. Now, as Sharif said, I don't mind shorting Tesla, not even one bit, if I see things I like, even when we're this high on the day. But also, if I see stuff I like as a long, I owe it to myself to try that as well. So let's see Tesla here. Tesla, if you do want to have that little bounce here, I don't see enough of a bounce, I have to say. Now I'm kind of seeing a rejection at 264.30s. We get there, we go back down. Now, can that change? Oh, for sure. Can we bounce at other levels? Absolutely. But that's the level I was looking at, and I don't like that we keep rejecting at it. So I'm going to have to wait as we have that reject law. Yes, that's a bad pun, but it's all good. Tea time there for me. But yeah, I'm going to have to leave Tesla be for a moment here as we get ready for our final lesson of the day, ride that Elliott wave. Because, as Sharif says, there's sometimes a change in the tides of the market. And sometimes you can get a better sense of what these market tides might be using Elliott waves and wave ratios. Guys, sorry about my voice. It is a little bit scratchier, so I feel like it's a bit harder to hear today, and I do apologize. I am doing what I can. This is my second giant mug of tea with 2 honeys, so we may have to, reload that tea. Shout out to Trading Analogies. We're going to do what we do. Also, I'm honestly not even on caffeine today here either, so just trying to push higher. Let's keep on going here with these markets. I just wanted to address my vocal cords. Do you want to talk about your meta trade?
No.
Okay, so does it make sure? Perfect. So let's talk about the Elliott wave reviews. Imagine you have the market unveiling a secret code, a Da Vinci code, if you will, a code within its price movements, and the Elliott wave theory suggests that this code might be unearthed in the ratios between the waves. Today, we're going to explore these ratios and how they can enhance your understanding of potential price targets and retracements. Now, a word of caution though, these ratios are guidelines, they're not rules, they're more going to be hints, whispers of how price action could go, how things could be moving. And they can be a powerful tool when they're used outside or alongside other technical analysis indicators. Thank you guys for the support in the chat. My voice appreciates it as well. Thank you. Just happy to be here every single day. Now let's talk about the Fibonacci sequence. So the Fibonacci sequence is a numerical sequence. It's a series of numbers wherein each number is the sum of two of the preceding ones. So 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 3 plus 5 is 8, 5 plus 8 is 13, et cetera, et cetera. That's going to be a huge role in the Elliott wave ratios. So let's talk about ratios for impulse waves 1, 3, and 5. Wave 3 is often going to be the longest and strongest wave. It's going to be 1.618 times the length of wave 1. That's a Fibonacci extension level. Shout out to Trader Tammy, who is the Fibonacci princess. You can catch her out on the market recap. Usually she's going to be with Neil and I because she's on Wednesday, so definitely check her out for sure. Wave 5, though, is going to typically extend the trend and can be equal in length to wave 1, or 0.618 times the length of wave 3. So that's going to be another Fibonacci retracement. Now let's look at the corrective waves. So it's going to be waves 2 and 4. So as we have those impulses, we have the corrections. Those are going to be the even numbered waves. So wave 2 is going to be the pullback after wave 1, and it's expected to retrace between 38.2% and 50% of wave 1. Those are going to be Fibonacci retracements as well. So it's going to be about 0.38 times, so about 3/8 or about 50%, depending on the Fibonacci retracement. Then you have wave 4. And wave 4 is a smaller retracement after the powerful wave 3, a big gust there. It's often going to be retracing between 23.6 and 38.2% of wave 3. These are other Fibonacci levels. So here's some example of the Elliott wave levels with the Fibonacci's. And as you can see here, it has it all mathed out. You can see we have 1.618 times wave 1. So this is wave 1. If you multiply that wave 1, you get your wave 3. Then you also have your wave 5, which is going to be multiplication as well. And then our baby waves, our corrective waves, the little tiny ebbs and flows here, these are also going to be, you can multiply these as well to get that difference. And I like as well, you have it kind of triangular, so you can show the difference here, the ebbs and flows here of the waves. Really interesting look. Now, also, here's the Fibonacci levels as well. So this is kind of them drawn a little bit differently. You have your first wave, then you've got that wave, corrective wave 2, which is going to be 50% or 61.8% of wave 1. Your wave 3, you have the measurements, and then wave 4. Then you've got your wave 5, which is going to be much larger than that wave 1, up to 161.8% of wave 4 and 100% of wave 1. Then you've got these waves to the downside here, A, B, and C, as that trend changes. And as you can see, these are actually also Fibonacci waves, which is pretty cool. So let's take a look as well of ratios in practice. So you can see here, we do actually have these ratios mathed out. So you've got 61, and this is something, again, I want to shout out, I'm not a huge Fibonacci person, I'm not as familiar with it. So shout out to Trader Tammy, because I think that's a really great look. As you can see here, 61.8% we've got from that wave D here. Then we have this 50% retracement as well, coming into some of these waves as well. This is kind of a very active chart. And then as you can see here, we got some of the bases here coming in at wave C, wave A at 0%. So really fascinating look here on these Fibonacci's on this chart here of the market. Now we've got ratios on Bitcoin, because it's really interesting to see that we can use this on a whole bunch of different types of charts. So we have this example of a rule of thumb, and then we have that next to this overall trade. So you have the impulse, these 3 impulse waves, with the overall trend. We actually have a few more impulse waves as well, and then these corrective waves, and then they're charted out here so you can see the extent to which this actually does follow the general rule of thumb here, like that they use that word, of the Elliott wave cycle. So let's talk about going as well beyond the basics. So these are just some of the most common ratios here. There are additional Fibonacci levels like 61.8 and 78.6 that are also considered, but you must remember the market can sometimes overshoot or undershoot these ratios. They're more just kind of a general guideline and a way to view potential levels. That's what I like as well, how Trader Tammy puts it. And again, I'm going to continue shouting her out because She's killing it on that market recap as well, the Fibonacci Princess. She'll usually use them as price target or profit target areas. That's more how she's using them, right? So it's just ways of looking at the stock from where we are right now. So I think that's a really great look as well there. So let's talk about putting it into practice. First, you want to identify the trend. I want to go back to thank you so much, Sharif, for putting together this slideshow, because I love that we have this Bitcoin example of the actual examples of Elliott wave next to the overall trend. So first, you want to identify the trend clearly. In this case, with the Bitcoin, we've got a bullish trend. Then you want to find wave one, which we have this initial impulse wave here, bouncing off 230. Wow, Bitcoin has really grown. It's crazy to think Bitcoin is
insane.
at $1.30.
No, like, and I have actual recollection of that. People were talking about that, like, and just very aggravating. Obviously, I haven't gotten in it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at one point, like, I started, when I started, it was around 20,000, which is crazy. I love that fist pump there for you, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's a print factory here well, it's the 200 on Amazon. Again, rejects, and we just took 25 pennies as quick as you can say, how do you do on that 200? And the same thing is going on Apple. We shorted at the area of resistance, and here we go. It just dipped into the $0.25. So I'm going to wait here for 228, which is where VWAP is, Adair.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Also, to answer, DVDR43, Big Papa Pow did finish speaking for the day. Usually he's a little bit longer. So that was a quick, but yeah, I appreciate you calling him by his proper name as well, DVDR3, Big Papa Pow. But right now, I was going to say Big Papa Pump, but the market's kind of Big Papa Dumping.
Oh, well, that's why.
Yeah, good for Sharif getting, oh my God, that tongue. I love the Sharif putting his tongue out because it's such a genuine, like, you know what I mean? It's like me when I push back the chair, it comes from a genuine place. You can tell he's not thinking about it, he's just doing it. So I want to shout, like Nike, but just shout out to Sharif there. Shout out to finishing this lesson as well here. Sorry, just because I got really, I saw that chart and I was like, I want to hear about that. But happy you printed there.
Thank you, appreciate it.
But also, you want to apply the ratios once you found your first wave. So use the Fibonacci ratios as, again, potential, emphasis on potential, because they're not always going to come to fruition. But you want to be aware of possible price target areas for wave endings, corrections, or extensions. So those are going to be the impulse waves. But you want to master the art. As we said, it's an art. You want to finish your beautiful painting like the Da Vinci Code. You want to finish your Mona Lisa. You might want to combine with other indicators. Maybe use these wave ratios along with trend lines, support resistance zones, and volume analysis to get a stronger signal. You also maybe want to practice, because practice does make perfect. We love that. We love practice up in here. If you want to get to Carnegie Hall, what you got to do is practice. So analyze historical charts and test your skills at identifying wave ratios before you apply them to live trades. I also really want to shout out Jonathan Emir saying Elliott wave actually apparently works beautifully on Bitcoin if you reference a longer time frame because it's staring you straight in the face. So I want to look more into that. Cool that we had that Bitcoin example. Thank you, Sharif, for preparing the lesson. Also, Tesla. I'm not involved, but look at this. We're making these lower highs, lower lows here. I like this look here on our old pal, Stressla. But Bezos to go on that. Bay to go. It's hard to do his name in that way, but shout out to your Amazon trade.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. We took Apple nicely as well to the downside, and the reason I took Apple short is because we came into that area resistance level that we had got into around 11 o'clock. We had moved into that 228 and 2/3. This time it ended up going into 70s, right? It's a $200 stock, so it's not going to give you exact levels. So that's why I got short there and covered quickly there before we got into the volume weighted average price. Same thing on Amazon because that 200 level, it just keeps yelling out my name. Take me short, take me short. And this one, we were able to take it down into 74s, Adara. Alas, it did break down into 55s. So, the time that I really wanted to print aggressively on this one, I ended up taking out a little bit more about earlier than I'd like, but that's all good there. So we'll keep an eye on Amazon to see if it holds up at this range because this is the area support. So it has support at the $0.50. The lowest it's been since the IB low was this 11 a.m. candle, which we got down to 199.48. We're at 50s right, 51 right now. So this is an obvious area of support. To go red on the day on AMZN, we have to break down below 30s. So 29 was the closing print from yesterday. So not looking at that area quite yet because we still haven't really given up the ghost at that $0.50 area. But the reason I'm yapping about it is because it's a range, right? So the same way that I took that 200 short, we can take this 199.5 long. Obviously with the market dumping as it just did after the auction, you look for more confirmation, but you don't need to be first, right? Because it's giving you about 50 pennies worth of range here. So you can wet your beak on it and not be first into the trade. So keeping an eye here on Amazon at the $0.50 level to see if it does hold up here, and then possibly want to take this right back north to take that 200, retracement into 200 is kind of what I'm saying there. Apple also continuing to move down off that $0.75 rejection, and I'm all eyes to see what we do here at VWAP at that 228.06, and then generally that 228 area, because we've used it both as support and resistance on the day. We zigged and then zagged a little bit here from 11.55 until 12.15, and then we kind of actually used VWAP as support and resistance with this area over here. There was just absolutely no respect for VWAP. So right now, finding a little bit of support at that 10 penny level, just in front of the whole dollar level at 228 is Apple bouncing off said level. The other trades, possibly, if you're interested, Microsoft just rejected yet again, off the 10 exponential on the 5. It's been a very weak day for Microsoft. 1 1/3 in negatory lane. It looks like somebody's taking profits here because it's been very weak on the day. Same thing with goggles. We're basically flat, up technically 0.05%. Oh, thank you. When I get up to the bathroom, I always forget to put it back.
She literally
Got on my
put
headset.
you on blast there.
Right. What was Ram putting me on blast?
She had you on the screen.
She had me on the screen. Yeah. Oh.
Was the angle.
Is that it, Ram? Okay. All right. Well, the thing is, Ram. All right. All right. No, seriously though. With Google, we bounced off the 20 exponential on the 5, but finding a little bit of support here at break even right at 189. So we'll keep an eye to see if this one keeps rejecting off the 10 exponential and making its way down. But Softy certainly is. Dang, Softy. You are not catching no breaks today. Down and to the right is Microsoft. We're looking to touch that 459.31 low again. It's been multiple rejections off the 10 exponential on the 5. The only breach was this one over here at 11:30, and it quickly retraced below the 10 period again. So all sorts of weakness there on Microsoft. Now back to Amazon, because we were talking about this $0.50. Good thing I didn't take the $0.50 long, because down it goes again. Here comes a third of a dollar, third to a quarter. That's what we were saying. This is the closing print from yesterday on AMZN. This 199.29. We're there right now. Here comes the low of day. The low of day is 26s. So all sorts of weakness coming in on the Mag 7 right now, to be expected after we got a little bit of an unsurprisingly weak auction there. I want to remind you guys that the comparator is not what we previously printed, but what the actual contract itself, the treasury yield was trading at before the auction. So that's what the comparator we always want to make. And if you don't have that, then you can go on Yahoo Finance and see exactly what it's trading at. Wow, Amazon, down it goes. Here comes 199 on the Zon. That's $1 from where we shorted. Very disappointed with that, but I'm not going to pretend like I knew it was going to break down below 199.50 and then 199.25 and then hit 199.04. No, I did not know that. I'm not going to pretend like I did, but there's all sorts of weakness right now on specific names. I'm talking about you, Amazon. I'm talking about you, Meta. Meta's also right back down into that 530 area. That's where it's been bouncing off the last couple of days. We had multiple longs off 530 yesterday. Today, it really hasn't come in all that much. You can see the outlying lows here are at 530. And here we go again, breaking down below it. 529 1/3 is the break-even point on Meta, but it's been multiple rejections off VWAP and looking to make that lower low. That is, if it breaks down below 58, technically, that's still the low on the day, Adair.
Yeah, so I had a couple Tesla shorts, unfortunately, that did not work out, unfortunately. But it's all good, we're all smiles. Like I said, really happy at the P&L because it just lets me focus on my progress and my learning and my trading. I tried to get short here initially, that 261.30, because we were rejecting that. Then we come back up and we pop above it. Wasn't able to get out where I wanted either. That thing was, it literally would not fill me. It part filled me. So it's all good. I'm not going to make excuses. It's Mother market will do what it does, and you gotta keep pushing how you're gonna do there. Tesla, though, if you want to keep projecting this 261.50s, I have no qualms going short. I have no qualms going long either, but I still don't really see a huge case for the long. There's no urgency in the book to the upside, where I'm seeing some urgencies to the downside. So if we get back to 30s, I'll get long, but are short. But we're not going to be chasing any waterfalls here. Stick to the rivers you're used to. That is for sure. And I'm taking smaller size because I've tried to be trading, taking less questionable trades when it is late in the day, because Sharif knows this. My brain will get a little bit sleep deprived and make some weird choices. And Sharif has seen me like anytime in the afternoon. I'm like, So yeah, as that 1 o'clock hour hits, I try to be more discerning. Took 20 pennies on that Tesla short. Could have taken more, but I didn't like that the way we were looking at 261. Happy I got it where I did, because it looks like we're still trying to bounce. I'll keep scalping if I see things I like, but
You didn't like the way Tesla was looking at you?
yeah, it was, or on the book. That's more what I guess it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was giving me a bit of a stinky eye. It was like, but shout out.
Vote.
Pardon?
Vote.
Yes, if there's any stocks, I thought you said and I was like, what happened? If you want to say, look at Mr. Bezos' Amazon and hear about Sharif's awesome trade on that. You want to look at Apple, you want to look at Microsoft, you want to look at Tesla, you want to look at Longeveron, you want to look at the SPY, whatever you have your peepers on, let us know. Go in the chat, ! Join, space, $, ticker. People want to look at Micron here. I think Byron mentioned this. We also had TL Bryant mentioning this. Let's talk about Micron here. Yeah, honestly, just kind of a steady move to the downside on MU. I got to say, initially, this is one of the stronger chips on the day, but we've had kind of lower highs. I got to say, honestly, Micron is not super singing to me. It's not going to be a pushback moment, because what I'm seeing is just generally a move to the downside. However, one thing I would be interested in is the fact that we had this little area here in the pre-market around 132, then we bounced off 132. 132 could be interesting for me here for Micron. I don't have any read on it right now. We're just continuing to push a little bit lower to the low of the day. Thank you so much for this awesome chat. I'm always so happy to be here. This is such a great community. I don't have any, well, I got it on my Tesla short early, but it's all good, baby. It was not all a dream. This market is real, guys. Nvidia, though, I'm seeing a little bit of top and turn consolidation. I love that 70s level, so if I see something decisive at 70s, I will likely take it short, but I don't know. I'm getting a little bit of, I want to wait for the balance of the evidence. Right now, I have no verdict here. There is no Law and Order chung happening yet. We need to wait to see. Remember last summer when everyone was rapping over that beat? Everyone was rapping over the Law and Order theme song, and I was in heaven. It was my idea of heaven.
I love it.
So
Dare
many
you made me
rappers had
chuckle
songs,
hard there.
they
I'm
would
not
just
gonna
call
lie.
it Law and Order, and they would rap over a different part of the Law and Order theme song. But yeah, I think my chung verdict has come in here for Nvidia. If we keep protecting this 129.80, I will short it. I'm a massive Law and Order fan, guys, so I
know you are.
I gotta give it some love. Literally, when this weekend, I guess we were taking videos outside, and someone was playing back the video.
Take
Like,
it easy,
someone
Neil.
was like yelling Law and Order in the background. I'm like, I wonder who that was. But yeah, so Neil, are you okay? Is Neil okay?
Neil is destroying everything over there with his cast and his yeah. Poor guy. Poor guy's immobile, and we gotta harp on him. We're just joking, Neil, obviously. All right, time to slow things down a little bit and talk a little footy, because, well, today is big boy day out in the Euros, Katina man. Well, Katina man, you know the audio over here. Yes. Copa. Oh, I'm going to get to it, Katina, man. I promise I'm getting to it. We're going to start with the first game first, and then we're going to go to the second game. So, Katina man's fired up over here after the meeting. Spain and France today. All right. So this is obviously a big boy game. We got two European heavyweights here. Spain obviously had the better group stage. They were 3-0 in Group B. France, funny enough, was 1-2 in Group D. But obviously France, big boy team with Kylian Mbappe and the rest of the crew over there. That starts at 3 o'clock today, guys. So make sure if you're into footy, obviously you're giving that a watch. But that ain't the big news. The big news, Adara, is Canada is in.
That's right. There we go.
Excuse me. What's going on with my stream deck over here? Yeah. Oh, animations are down. Okay, well, Canada plays in the semifinal for the Copa America, and we're playing the exact same team that we played game 1 Argentina. And let me tell you, we lost that game 2-0, fair and square. Nothing to complain about. But I think Canada played one hell of a game against Argentina. We had a lot of opportunities, especially in the first half. I think Argentina definitely took over with their experience and their more talented players. In the second half, that doesn't mean that Canada did not have its shots in the first half. And I got to tell you, we've really, and by we, I'm talking about Canada, we've really improved since that game one. Despite the fact that I think we played well game one, we've really incrementally improved, especially with defense and that. What's that guy, Shelley's Burger? You know what I'm talking about. Schlumberger. Calm down there, Katina, man. He's not an oil company.
You guys said
no,
massively
seriously.
different names.
Yeah. Schillberger, something. Chat, help me out, man. The chat will know. Anyway, this guy, he's from the Maritimes. He's from Eastern Canada. But let me tell you, this boy can ball. This guy, let me tell you, he's going to get picked up. Likely going to be in Europe. Maybe not this summer, maybe in January, who knows? But this guy is on one of the, the biggest tournaments right now being watched with the Euros, obviously. And I think that he gets picked up. I know he plays in the MLS, but this boy can ball. The chat still. Schaffelberger, thank you, Schaffelberger, Domingo. I think it's Schaffelberger, not Shuffle. But you're close. Thank you for reminding me about that. Domingo Vasquez, shout out to him. Schlumberger, no, John, you're killing me. But yeah, that's the look. So 3 o'clock today, Spain, France. Then I think it's either 8 or 9, Copa America. We play Argentina again. And I think where are we playing? Are we in LA? Where are we playing here? Let's find out. Copa America. Let's find out over here. We're on the Copa. So today, Katina, man. Yeah, we're working. Ram, we're good. So today, we're playing Bank of America Stadium. What's where's this? No, that's not them. We're playing today. Where the hell are we playing? We are playing MetLife. So New York. So Argentina, Canada, New York City, well, obviously New Jersey. Hopefully we'll have some more fans come out there because I got to tell you, I was really disappointed to see the amount of fans that we had in Kansas City. There weren't that many fans in Kansas City anyway for that game. I believe it was against Peru. But yeah, go Canada. Go.
Also, Ramin would like to know, what is the meaning of beakwater?
Taking profits.
Yeah, right? It's like when you want to take...
Oh, she was setting us up for that. She was setting us up for... That's why the stream deck was down. Yes, Fabian. You're undefeated, Fabian. All right, I need the codes to that immediately.
Oh my God, did you see it? It's dipping its bucket in...
it's wetting its beak, Adara.
You guys are so nice to us.
I want to say Domingo Vasquez, Schaffelberger, has played a lot with Messi in Nashville. Yeah, because he's in the MLS. And Nashville has played Miami multiple times, so he's had a view of Messi. But let me tell you, a lot of people have played against Messi. They still can't figure out that monster, but obviously he's nowhere near where he was in his prime. Shout out to the GOAT, MESSI.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. But yeah, hopefully they'll kick it out of the park there. Also, Tesla, happy I switched short. If I had been scalping about this, could have taken some time. Happy I got out of the short is what I should have said. Tesla now trying to bounce off 261 or 262, sorry. If Tesla wants to bounce off 262, you guys know I will definitely go long this thing. But I think I need to recognize, and I think this is my issue too, sometimes when I trade the book, I fail to notice some of the ranges we have in the book, and I try to play it more as breakout and breakdown instead of playing the ranges. Right now, I am seeing rid of range of the book. We can't get below this 70 level decisively. So if I keep seeing that come to fruition, if we're bouncing from like 75s to like 260, 220s, that's a 50 penny range. I have no qualms, guys. I am qualmless. I mean, you always want to have some qualms, I should clarify. But when I say qualmless, I mean I have the confidence to get involved. So if we get back to 83s and bounce, I will get in. Or 82s, I think is where my entry. I don't know if we're going to get that bounce. But either way, I like the look of it. So I do owe it to myself to attempt that. Because that's what confidence is all about. But guys, you know you only have 15 minutes left.
Oh, you got it.
To
vote.
Go in that chat, exclamation point, join, space, $, the monster, I'm joking, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Jimmy, Longeveron, SNGX, which I'm almost positive will be involved today. Any of those names, doesn't matter if it's a small cap, doesn't matter if it's a large cap, doesn't matter if it's a medium cap. Is it doing volume? Do you want Sean and Neil's takes on it? Do you want Sharif to stand at the green screen, gesticulate wildly about it? Yes, but also, guys, just a reminder, his mustache is not a ticker. We've been good about that lately, but I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Because I got a kick out of it. Also, remember that day that you kept saying C-poop, so it literally went on the
I don't even think anybody traded it. It's just they like the fact that I kept calling. Yeah, I know, right?
You actually did trade C-poop, and no one else did. But shout out there to Sharif. Also, I am getting a bit more aggressive with my Tesla entry because we're seeing higher lows here in the book. I got slightly larger size than I initially planning on getting. I'll keep adding as long as we stay above 261.70s, but I realized I was like, Derek, you're not going to get involved unless you punch in now with the viciousness. Now, will that work against me? Right now, it looks like it's trying to, but if I keep seeing us have this buoyancy off the 262, let's get involved. But you know, as I mentioned, all of these different types of market caps, there's one I forgot about. Ramin's a little bit upset. Justice for ice caps. So thank you, Ramin there. Ramin, what's your favorite kind of ice cap? Tim Hortons? Caramel. Did not answer the brand question, but she likes the caramel ice cap.
Yeah.
I like ice cap with almond milk. What about, do you drink? I don't think
I don't drink ice caps. I don't know why. It's just like
not your thing.
Yeah, it's not. Calm down there, Jay. He's like, there's no protein in it. There's no protein in regular coffee either, bruh. All right, guys, I'm short Amazon at this level. I'm looking to take this area, support level short. We broke down below this, like $0.0002 area on AMZN. I'm going to be super tight with my stop over here. So if it breaks above $0.0075, we got short at 66s at 2/3. If it breaks above 75, the trade is no longer valid because we're looking for this area to hold. So it looks like I will get stopped out here for a 9-penny loser as it will break above 75 momentarily here. Sad, I tried to get this one. I'll look to possibly get short again, so that we just did get stopped out. Now, why am I long SNGX? Oh my God, I thought I cleaned up my stops. Oh God, this is not good. SN.
I can take over.
No, it doesn't make any difference. It won't make any difference. I'm long, and it's a good trade. Hey, we took like 50 pennies on that. I can't believe it, okay? Yeah, I was long 55s, took it out at 10s. That was, that's luck. Let's just call a spade. That was luck, but I did like this level for the double bottom, but I didn't have eyes on it. So guys, don't be an idiot like me. Clean up your resting orders, clean up your stops. Don't be stupid like I was right now. So we just took a nice little beak wetter on SNGX, and we got stopped out sadly on AMZN. So now I did clean up my stops. I know for a fact that I did because I hit that cancel key. So now VWAP is at 199.88, but I don't think that I'm going to take anything off VWAP here because that's awfully close to the 200 resistance we've been talking about on AMZN. So I'm sad that I gave back a little bit of profit on this one, but I did want to try it because it was a clear level, defined there at the $0.50, $0.0002. Looks like Amazon's got other plans right now as it's screaming back into 200. Now, the question is, does it reject at 200 like it's been doing the majority of the day? Now, it doesn't have to be a strict 200 rejection. We know that there have been outlying prints. For example, we got into a fifth of a dollar over here at, where did we get into? 220 and change. So you're going to have to wait to see, does it reject, number one, 200 quick? And if it doesn't reject it, does it reject off one of these a little bit higher levels, 210, 215, whatever it is. But great retracement for Amazon for anybody who's long. Sadly, not for me because I had the wrong idea here. So we'll look to fix that up. But I'm looking at Softy here because it's doing the dance with 460 again. So I'm going to send it to you while I put in an entry on this one, Adair.
Yeah, there's a couple things I want to look at. Intel, a couple people mentioning here, including, I believe, Chess in the chat. Yeah, this one definitely trying to push higher. I'd watch out to see what we do here at 34.55 because that was where we had a little bit of chop and churn earlier. So that would be my area of interest. We're about 10 pennies away from that, trying to push higher. Let's see how we go on this. If we're able to, what we're able to do here at VWAP. Let's see what else is going on with Intel. I would say that 34.80, that'd be my next area. I'd be interested, again, that was pre-market, a bit of pre-market support, so let's watch out for that. Speaking of pre-market support, pre-market ranges, there's this range. I really want to shout out Luis for mentioning this range here that we have on the SPY, because I like it, and I like this, and I spied it. Okay, probably too late for me to get involved in that short here, which is what I really liked at that 556.30. Definitely too late, but I want to wait and see what we do here because that was a little bit of a pop we got earlier, 556.15. I'm going to keep my eye on this. That is for sure. Yeah, definitely a bit of a tighter rate, or not a tighter range, a bit more of a loosey-goosey range. But if you see things that are bouncing around, definitely things to watch and keep an eye on. Also, I definitely got a kick out here of this comment from Mauricio Romano saying, I love you guys, but go Argentina. So yeah, shout out to everyone, whatever team you are rooting for. We're all here for everybody here. We are all in this together. Shout out to the Third High School Musical. Also, I took a quick long there off Tesla. I got involved 260, where did I even, was it like 262. I got involved 260, versus around 262s, go down around 262.50, so probably slightly lower, 262.40, so happy with that. We're trying to bounce off the 90 MA here for Tesla. I'll take long scalps if I keep seeing higher highs and higher lows in the book, but there is some bizarre resistance here on the book and a little bit on the chart, as you can see as well. Resistance support flip-flop with 262.70 that I want to be cognizant of. That saying, if we bounce off 262.50s, I'm definitely interested. Thank you, Brothers and Bulls, for everything you do and also for reminding us we have about 8 minutes left for tickers to be submitted. So if there's a ticker that tickers your fancy, get involved, put it in this here chat, and make your voice heard. Also, we've got Nvidia here kind of doing this little snaky action. We're back at this 130.15. Shout out to, I think it was Gatekeeper, who really wanted that 130 area on Nvidia. Well, you got your wish, Gatekeeper. That gate opened, and you got your 130. Let's see if we bounce here off this 130.15 here on Nvidia. I'm going to go long the SPY because we're getting that bounce off 556.15s. We're going to try to get involved at 19s. If we break below that area decisively, below into 10s, I'll have to get out. Not sure I'm going to get what I want, but I think, you know, you can't always get what you want, as the song goes, but you're going to try if you see stuff you like. I do think we could be pushing higher here. We are below the 90 MA, but I saw a little bit of a push up, so I would love to see what we do at 556.30s. If we can't get above that, I'll take my 11 pennies. Qualmless. Let's see what happens. I agree with John Szymanski saying wick shimmy on Nvidia. Definitely a little bit of a wick shimmy action. But if we keep staying up here, I'm long the SPY. I might as well join long Nvidia, add to that party there, because it's been a while since we've kind of made, like, we've had higher highs and higher lows, lower highs, but the highs aren't really that much lower, whereas the lows are definitely higher. So I like that look. Shout out to Pitchbull for finishing the song there. Love all of the sing-along action in the chat. And I love that some people in the chat knew what I was talking about when I mentioned that Law and Order trend in rap last summer, because that was iconic. Literally, even Spain, they were doing it. Spain was doing it too. Everybody was doing it. But Tesla's trying to bounce here off this 262.50s. Let's see if it wants. Do you want that smoke, Tesla? Because if you want that smoke, I will take you with small size. And I will take, yeah, I will. And I'll take you into 30s. You know what, Tesla? Why? Because I like what I'm seeing. And I trust love myself. We'll see how much longer I do that for, especially if we can't get above that 262.70. My faith will be shaken, but you got to keep going. You got to keep believing. It's not hopium, it's strength, and it's seeing what you're seeing and getting what you're trying to see. I am talking in circles, so how are you doing?
Good. I just want to read what Domingo Vasquez wrote. So my man Domingo there, I already like this guy because he's a footy fan. So he's long España, short Argentina, and short France. My man, I'm gonna have to hit the bang there. So I think exactly the same as you. I don't know if Canada can beat Argentina though. Well, because it's just a tough ask. We're gonna do it. Yes, Patty. BPI with the vibes. Shout out to Good Vibes Katina and very good vibes, Patty. We all know about that. BPI doing his thing, always behind us there with Amara. We all know about that. But yeah, with respect to Canada, it's a tough ask. Beating the world champions, beating one of the best players in the world, but we're gonna support them. No question about it. Just don't understand why the game's at 9 o'clock. Neil bringing up a good point. Probably something to do with the South American viewership there, which is, I think, behind us by an hour maybe, or ahead of us. I'm not really too sure. Anyway, in this Microsoft short here, and I don't know if I'm going to be in this for much longer, because if it reclaims the 10 exponential on the 5, that's where I want it to reject, or that's where I was looking for it to reject. So there we go. So we did get stopped out of that softy short super quick. I was trying to take a 10 exponential retracement, and then it ended up moving a little bit up. But I don't know if we're completely wrong on this trade quite yet. got shaken out of it super quick. But if it does turn down here and show me a red candle, then I will get right back into this trade. And it looks like that's exactly what it's doing, as it does show red again here. So I'm going to get back in and see what comes here, Adair.
Yeah, I'm just getting out of my little SPY
I can take
here.
over, don't worry.
No, it's okay. I just need to punch out of this. There we go. Basically, the SPY dropped here below the 10, so I decided I did not want to hang 10 in the SPY anymore. There we go. But this Tesla, talk about a bamboozler, okay? We keep bouncing 250, 6250s to 262.70s. I was like, cool. I want that long. The second I get in, this thing gives up its bounce. Then the second I get out, it comes right back. Tesla, what? Tesla, what? That being said, if it wants to bounce off that previous area of resistance, 262.70s, you guys know I'm all about that life. I'm all about that base, or I guess in this case, all about that resistance. Resistance, no trouble. So we're gonna try to get involved in that here. I see stuff I like here. We'll get involved.
Wrong. We'll
start the position at 80s, we'll add at 70s, and then we're going to get out if we break below 50s. Or if I see anything distinctly different in the tape there. I do not know if this is going to give me what we want, but I'm definitely interested in this look here. We are bouncing off that previous area that I was anyway using as that resistance support flip-flop on this TSLA. That's the hard thing too, is you never know what area you're using is going to hold. So that's why you just have to whatever you're seeing, and again, this is why I like what Sharif has to say, using whatever is getting you into the trade to get you out of the trade. I think that's really key, and that's something I've been trying to do more as well. But this Tesla is trying to get me out here. I do not like this Sam I am, so we're gonna have to be getting out. Shout out for some reason to Green Eggs and Ham, I guess. So even though I know I said I was gonna be waiting for 50s, I'm still not loving this chop and turn and our inability to get back above 263. That was definitely not something that was in the cards for me for this trade. So if we can't get into around 90s here, this is where things might get dicey for me here. I'll get out 85s. I'll take 10 pennies on my average. That's okay with me. Please just punch. It's about taking, not staying involved in positions for things you want to see. It's about acting on what you actually do see. I apologize for speaking in platitudes and cliches over here. We're getting near the end of the day. These markets have been wild. This has been such a fun day. I have a question. If England and Canada ever played each other, who would you root for?
Oh, Canada. No question about it.
Because I know you're so pro-England.
Canadian
That's why
boy.
I was curious.
I'm Canadian boy.
That is true. You are Canadian.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because I know you're pro.
No, I mean, I lived in England. I have umpteen amount of respect for that country. I loved my time there. I drive an English car. I love English teams, right? But I'm Canadian, baby.
That is fair.
Yeah. All right, let's keep an eye out here on Softy because I'm in this short, and I don't know if this one's going to work my way. So it looks like we will go negatory on Softy after being decently up on it on the day. That's if we get stopped out, but my inclination says that we do because we're decidedly above the 10 now, and if we reject, likely he's going to be off the 20, which is at the $0.50, and there's no way I'm giving this to the $0.50. So we'll watch what we get right now. But we're at, a number of key areas of resistance on a lot of these names. I mean, we're at the 10 period on Meta. We're at the 10 right now on Softy as well. The 20 on Goggles, the 10 on Nvidia. So, I felt like it made sense, but maybe Microsoft was just so beat up on the day, it behooves us to possibly take a mean reversion trade, and that's what it looks like it's doing right now off that 415.99 a third. That's aggressive fist pumping there, but we'll find out all about it in a second. 459 and a third, that's where the low of day is, and now I am stopped out officially off the soft one as it did break the $0.25. So we're technically negatory on the dates. The first time I've been negative in, I'd say, a week and a half, but that's all right. So we'll look to possibly weasel a trade or two in. We've got about 8 minutes before I got to go to the big screen, but a great recovery there for Softy. Maybe I overstayed my welcome on this one, trying to short it off the 10 when it had been so weak. So lesson learned there. Keeping an eye on some other stuff, though. I do like possibly a retracement on Goggles here into possibly that 189.50. That was an interesting area of support that we used before the big boy Huadunk came in there midday. Now we're breaking above the 20 here on Goggles. So that green dotted line, that's your pivot point. But it's not just, that's not what I'm gunning for. I'm gunning for this area over here at 189.50 as a possible level of resistance. We'll see what we get with that one if Goggles works its way right back up there. I should tell you as well, AMZN also right back into $200. So this one dipped into 199.04, and we had that nice short on it, but right back up it goes in a V-shaped retracement. I just feel like these Mag 7 names are all being bought up, even though we have, a day today that we're flat on the market, down 0.04% on the NQ September contract. It doesn't really matter because it seems like these dips on a lot of these names are being bought up aggressively. So we'll keep that in mind as we look for an overall larger trend on the market to know how to trade these Mag 7 names. Let's look at some of the other names that are going. SNGX breaking down now below that 9.5. Had that quick 50-penny banger, although it was, let's just gloss over that super quick. Had that resting order at 9.5. Totally forgot about it. Saw it on the position board. Didn't even realize I had it, but I was able to take. Yeah, I know. It's my fault though. Right, I should have cleaned up my resting orders. So SNGX still in play, above the volume weighted average price at 360%, so decent day. ZAP also above VWAP, so is Peggy, but they're well off their highs. Longeveron, a little zig, a little zag, a little bit below VWAP. Now it's trying to straddle it from the high side, but it really is the story of Sava and NOS and GEMA, because these guys, they didn't really find consolidative trends. They've been directional all day long. SAVA, I gotta tell you, I'm really surprised about this one. This one initially had trouble with that 11.5. It dipped into VWAP. We talked about this at the beginning of the show, and it is up nicely, about $1.10 since we started the show there at 12.07. Having trouble with the $12 level, unsurprising there, 11.98, currently trading at. GEMA as well. It also held every indicator you'd like to use there and breached through 11 after initially having trouble with it on that crest, 1090-ish or so. We end up getting to 11 1/5 on the high of day. And then NOS, wow. This one, I gotta tell you, the range per candle was a little wide on this one. It wasn't really respecting the moving averages as one may like, but now ex post facto, looking at it, I think that I had this one all wrong because the range per candle wasn't all that wide. I mean, it's about 10, 15 pennies maybe at the most, but it was just too zigzaggy, too uncommitted. And the volume, yes, that's what it was on this one. The volume was sus. But still, 2 2/3 million on a name, that we've been watching for the majority of the show, up 48%, probably on a lot of people's scanners. So unsurprised, I'm very surprised that it continued in the direction that it continued in, but we'll keep these on for tomorrow, see if there's second day plays with the Madeira.
NOS is surprisingly strong there. Do you have a favorite NOS song?
I like the Street Disciple album. That's my favorite album.
We talked about this.
Yeah,
it's a good album.
There's a lot of songs on that album
Story?
that I like. Yeah, no, it's I can basically rap the entire thing, but there's just a lot of cussing and a lot of gun references in it. But I forget the name of it.
It's a good album.
Yeah. That's a good one. I'll get back to you on that.
Tesla trying to get back to this 263. I've taken short scalps, I've taken long scalps. I'm gonna switch to the 1 minute candle so you guys can see what I did here, because honestly, I kind of need it to remember. Oh, I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of what I did on this, looking at this 8? Here. Look at this short, I think it's 8, we did a lot today. I got short, 262.75, this one I did that fist pump, got out literally at the lows here of that candle, 262.40, so I took 30 pennies on that. That was all purely a book scalp. Then I book scalp long here, and again, got out near the top of that candle, so please just punch with that. I'm not trying to I definitely believe in humility, sit down, shout out to Kendrick Lamar, you gotta be humble there. But yeah, I think sometimes you have to recognize what's working. For me, trusting the book is what's working there. It's what worked for those trades. And the trades I find where things get iffy is when I'm believing more what I think I should be and not what the book is telling me. So really proud of some work done today. I am up on the day.
Nice.
A little bit of lost some of the earlier gains, but happy with what I did there. And I think that's what matters. That's why I'm happy I'm hiding the P&L till the end of the day. It's like a show and tell. Show and P&L. But there we go. Interesting look there. One mic, says Ricky Peters. That is
all I need is one mic.
I literally have that song on my phone. That's a great answer. We were listening to some NAS this weekend as well, and it was a good time. But this Nvidia 130. This thing does not know if it wants to be long 130 or short 130. It's doing something here at 130. You know what's weird?
What?
Nvidia and the SPY are looking kind of similar to me.
Huh.
Which is bizarre. They're both waffling by their 9 EMA. And they're both in a bit of a consolidative mood on the 5 minute chart. So I think that's a bit of an interesting look. So I think just something I noticed there that is interesting on the SPY. But yeah, I'm spying your Microsoft short. And
Yeah, a little zig, a little zag. I mean, I saw a topping tail candle that tried to reach the 20, it didn't. I put my out through the top of the topping tail candle, so on the north side of 40. I was looking for a quick move down off that topping tail candle, but I only have about 2 more minutes left to trade. I already put the stop in, so theoretically I can let this one churn and chop and then possibly put in a beak wetter. What I was looking for was a 460 dip because we had multiple bottoming tail candles off 460, so I was anticipating strength for 460 if we were to work our way back down. But we're going to have to get down there before we can have a discussion about that. So we'll see if we can move down here on the soft one. Still break even at the moment. We're not really doing much, but we are moving up a little bit on the future, not by much. We're at the 20 exponential on the 5 on the September contract on the NQ. We've been rejecting off that 20 period multiple times. Say, look at that 4 candle rejection here from 1 o'clock to 1:15. All of them actually rejected off that candle and made their way down. We're at the 20 again. Previously, it wasn't the 20 we were in love with. We were in love with the 50 over here on the NQ. We'll see if that trend of lower highs and lower lows continues in the day, or whether we get a nice retracement to the high side. The soft one coming into 14s over here. I'm going to send it to you, Adara, but I just want to read what Brendo sent me here. GOP Congressional Committee approves bill to block marijuana rescheduling while rejecting state cannabis projection amendment on MSOS. Let's look quickly at these weed names to see if they are moving as a result of that headline, and yes, they are. Look at MSOX down 8 1/3. MSOS, which is the one-time levered, is down 4. Keep your eye on weed as a result of this last little news item. Thank you, Brendo, for sending that. I'll leave you with that, Adair.
Yeah, thank you, Brendan, for sending that. I mean, look at this volume pop here we had in MSOS here. This one candle, we're doing like 1.5 mil shares in volume, especially compared to a bit weaker. I think the largest volume candle before that was going to be about 100,000. So big drop there. MSOS, not very high right now. Feeling a little bit low, perhaps. I want to shout out Sharif. Thank you so much for everything there, for the providing that awesome lesson as he does every single day. We're so happy to be here with you guys. This has been such a great time and such a great community that I'm always very grateful to be a part of and to have that support from. What else is everyone? INTC was the right call, says KP. So shout out to you. Let's take a look at INTC. I know I said there was that, I think like, what was it, 34.55 that I thought was kind of spicy there. So let's see. Oh, okay. We did reject that area. I said that could have been interesting here. It's always interesting when that kind of stuff comes in there. Let's see right now. We're trying to push higher. Now, we, of course, could end up bouncing here, but I think it is interesting. Even with this green candle, we're seeing a little bit of a topping tail action there. Thank you so much to Bears vs. Bulls for everything you do, for all of your support and making this community so awesome. Can't believe we only have 30 seconds. Hope you guys had a fun, awesome, jam-packed trading day so far, but you know what? It's not even over yet. You got Neil, you got Sean with their Neilage and their confidence, and definitely should be an interesting afternoon there. We also have Feds Bowman speaking right now, I believe, as well, so I think started around 1:30, so lots of interesting stuff happening here in this market. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. Right now, though, we have Sharif on this here green screen and Neil and Sean on the desk, guys.
Welcome to the afternoon rundown, where you get to decide what we talk about every day in the afternoon.